live. Good evening, Michigan. More importantly, basketball fans throughout the state. Welcome to State Champs Score, your ultimate destination for all the action, drama, and excitement of tonight's MHSAA Boys Basketball State Quarterfinals. We have done this for hockey. This is our basketball trial run. We'll be doing the State Champs version of what we're calling the Red Zone in the fall for football. We're going to call that also the Score. And so there you have it. So I'm your host, Lorne. Tonight we're diving headfirst into the heart of high school hoops as 16 teams battle it out for a chance to make it to the Breslin Center this weekend for the semifinals and state championship games across all four divisions. So from jaw-dropping highlights to live look-ins, exclusive interviews, expert analysis, we've got you covered every step of the way. And speaking of expert analysis, I'm thrilled to be joined tonight by the one and only TJ Kelley, better known as Scoop IPS on social media. TJ has been the brains behind the regular season top 25 boys basketball rankings for state champs. He's been doing it for years now, and you can catch his incredible insight every week on State Champs Hang Time. Now, TJ, welcome to the show. It's great to be back with you talking hoops.
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm dumbfounded being here, to do a live show. We were talking about it in studio, the quarterfinals here in Michigan basketball being, maybe the greatest day of high school basketball, just because you have so many teams. And all 8 divisions, all 32, 4 different divisions. Each one of these teams has got this far. We're in the final week of basketball, and like you were mentioning, the road to the Breslin. Hey, what a great trip it is.
Absolutely, and it seems like tonight is one of those games that gets forgotten. The quarterfinals are quite often some of the best games in the entire state playoffs. Hopefully we're going to see some of those tonight. We're going to live it together, so that's going to be interesting. We're going to be breaking down a lot of the 16 quarterfinal matchups, spotlighting the players to watch, giving you a front row seat to the intensity as these teams fight for their shot at glory. We will definitely reference all of them. So, State Champs Score is proudly presented by Lawrence Technological University and Lawrence Tech Athletics. If playing college sports is your dream, don't wait for a college coach to find you. Recruit yourself. At Lawrence Tech, we're looking for student athletes ready to compete in the NAIA across 24 varsity sports with athletic scholarships available. Plus, explore exciting new degree programs like sport management, where sports meets cutting-edge education. Visit LTURecruitYourself.com. Fill out the brief questionnaire. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. All right, now TJ, let's get right into it with so much on the line tonight. I want you, before we get into everything, just give us your overall thoughts on the teams vying for a spot in this weekend's state finals across all 4 divisions. Who's standing out? Who's got the momentum? And who do you think has what it takes to get to Breslin?
Well, one thing we always talk about is if you're the defending champion, you're champion until somebody beats you. And we're fortunate enough in Division 1, Division 2, and Division 4 that we've got 3 teams that are still alive and still fighting to get that dream, you know what I'm saying, of hoisting another trophy. And if that winds up happening, I'm not sure the last time there have ever been 3 repeat champions.
Right.
But I also will say this.
Been a minute.
Orchard Lake St. Mary's more than likely the favorite now to win Division 1. I'm not discounting against any other teams. I just watched them beating L'Anse Creuse North in decisive fashion. It was no, let's say this, when it got to the second half, it was like, all right, we're done playing around and stuff like that. And the game, or the score just wound up getting that much further separation.
Right.
Warren Lincoln, Wydell Henry's doing a great job. He's got a lot of seniors, and even some of the seniors that I've seen, from last year, they might not have had the playoff run that they wanted to. Well, the good thing about being a junior is you still have a senior season to play, and a lot of those guys are stepping up to the plate and leading the Abes more than likely back to the Breslin Center. And then, what's high school basketball without Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian at the Breslin Center?
That's right.
Defenders have, fantastic job. It looks like they're more than likely headed back to the Breslin with a big win over Lenawee Christian, or at least they're leading by a strong score right now.
Yes, they are, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live, so we invite you to comment on our YouTube channel. I'll be checking this, monitoring this, and if you've got questions, whatever you want, something, we'll ask TJ. We'll throw it out there to the community. So anyway, you can do that. But that's it. The stage is set. Stakes are high. and the road to the Breslin starts right now. So let's get ready for an unforgettable night of basketball. Stay tuned because State Champ Score is just getting started. Let's take our first look at what's happening live right now. And again, I will be monitoring your comments, so let us know what you're thinking as the night unfolds. So let's get to Division I, and let's get to what we have in terms of, do you have the brackets there? Why don't we start with the bracket, if we can do that and bring it up. Here it is in quarterfinal action in Division I. These are the matchups today: East Lansing, Ann Arbor, Huron, Orchard Lake, St. Mary's, L'Anse Creuse North. That game is a final already, and we'll get to that. We got some highlights. Detroit King, Wayne Memorial, Flint Carman-Ainsworth, and Byron Center. That's what's happening in Division I. As you see there, Orchard Lake, St. Mary's has already won. Let's get a live look in right now to what's happening in Mason. This is East Lansing and the River Rats and of Ann Arbor, Huron. And so these are two teams who met in last year's quarterfinal. That is a game where Huron won 54-48, but right now, East Lansing, #1 team in the state.
Hey, they're playing great basketball. As you can see, Kingston Thomas is back in the fold. Wound up getting there was sustained an injury earlier last week. And he's back just as promised. I talked with his dad. Was able to talk with East Lansing's head coach Ray Mitchell. And Kingston Thomas is one of those guys, only a sophomore, where you don't have to run any plays for him. He just goes out there, gets things done, and highly productive, and he's going to be a key factor to decide how far East Lansing winds up going. And right now, they've got a 9-point lead. Yeah. So, hey, it looks like Orchard Lake St. Mary's and East Lansing could very well meet in the state semifinal, and that'll be on Friday. And that'll be another game where Orchard Lake St. Mary's will have an opportunity to redeem one of their losses from this season. They already wound up beating University of Detroit Jesuit, got them out of there in the playoffs. Yep. And then, see what's going on in East Lansing. I know that, East Lansing, they get to play in front of the home crowd. So, they're probably, let's see, the MHSA is going to be very happy if East Lansing winds up making the trip and probably bringing another 1,000 fans just because of being so close to home. That's
right. So why don't we head over to Division II and take a look at this is who is playing tonight, trying to get to the Breslin Center: Kingsford and Freeland, Lansing, Sexton, and Summit Academy. We're going to get to that game in just a second. Grand Rapids Catholic Central and Marshall. Warren Lincoln, we talked about the Abes going up against Pontiac Notre Dame Prep, who I'm sure are very happy to be there, be regional champions. They know they got a tall mountain to climb if they're going to beat the Abes.
Well, yeah, and I had the opportunity to talk to Whitney Robinson, brought a strong group back. That's the head coach for Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. Wade Robinson was his son, wound up graduating last year, and so you wound up losing a big focal part of that team from last year.
Yeah.
And in saying that, they've got an uphill battle going against Warren Lincoln. Whitney Robinson, Notre Dame Prep, the Irish, they're not going to shortchange themselves. They know what they've got in front of them. Yeah. And anytime you're playing, the team that has an opportunity to repeat as champion, they want it just as bad as anybody else.
Yeah, we know that. Even though you didn't see it there on the screen, that Summit Academy had a pretty sizable lead over Lansing Sexton, so I expect them to win. In fact, it could be over. They were having trouble. I think it's over. Yeah, we've got people celebrating on the court there. I doubt there was a disturbance. Oh, here we go.
No, this is the Byron Center Carman-Ainsworth, so we might have to slip back to that.
We definitely need to get to that game right now, and if we've got it, Byron Center and Flint Carman-Ainsworth. Looks like we've got a doozy happening right now with about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. What's that? We don't have it yet.
Yep.
So
no worries. We'll keep you updated. Byron Center is up by a point.
Yes.
Over Carman-Ainsworth with that 2:30 right now, and Carman-Ainsworth has the ball. So.
All right.
Hey, this is a great game. Byron Center to me really got over the hump. In saying that I think they lost in last year's districts, but they've got a lot of talent. 3 guys that are going to go play college basketball. They've got a 4th that's going to go play football. Yeah. Coach Rodriguez is excited to be here, and at the same time, you've got to really realize, the task at hand. And then if you look on the other side with Carman-Ainsworth, Jay Witham, Flint Carman-Ainsworth, the Cavaliers wound up starting off the season. I think they were started off season 5-0. At one point, we're in my state Champs Hang Time top 10.
Right.
And, they wound up falling out after losing a few games. And then they turned it on at the right time. And here they are in the quarterfinals with a great opportunity. And it looks like right now, boom, and 1. So, All right, no, they called it off, but it looks like Carman-Ainsworth will have a chance
so
to
they called the foul.
Yep,
So
they'll have an opportunity to go up a point.
We don't have that to show you right now, but it is a barn burner that's happening right there between Byron Center and I agree. You know, Byron, and we'll just finish on this, and then we'll get to another look in if we can. Byron Center first regional title since 1986. If you can believe that. And that was a long time ago. In that run, they defeated both state-ranked Northview and Hudsonville way back when. And that was way back when. Now for, Flint Carman-Ainsworth, this has been a 9-game winning streak for them. So they've been rolling. And I don't know if they've been as pressured as much as they are right now in the last several.
Well, I mean, you look at Byron Center, they've got the front court and led by by Camden Carell. He's handed a Bowling Green next year. He's 6'7". But then Carman-Ainsworth counters with one of the high motor guys in the state, and that's Hawk Hamlin. I hear he's a wonderful football player, and then more likely that's where he's headed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hard work, they've got Lee, they've got a few other guys for Byron Center who have really turned it on. And hey, when you talk about that opportunity, look at the student section dressed in orange.
We can't look at the student section.
Yeah, well, we'll describe it as best as popular.
We'll keep this on. We'll keep, it's 51-50 Carman-Ainsworth, 118 left to go in the game. That's happening right now. If you happen to have an NFHS subscription, you can go check it out yourself. Why don't we go over to see what's happening in Division 3? Let's pull up Division 3 right now, and this should be the bracket for it. So, Ishpeming Westwood and McBain tonight. AT&T Academy of Pontiac going up against Flint Elite. That game is already over. Jackson Lumen Christi and Riverview Gabriel Richard playing tonight, and Pewaukee Westphalian Schoolcraft. So a lot of games going. Let's get another look in at what's happening in Division 3. So this is Pewaukee Westphalia and Schoolcraft. It's taking place at Kalamazoo Lloyd Norix High School. Pewaukee Westphalia 23-3 coming in. Schoolcraft 20-6. Schoolcraft, won the state title in 2022. Last year, lost to the eventual state champ Niles Brandywine in the regional final. And so I'm guessing the Schoolcraft is ahead here. Or is that Pewaukee?
No, I think that they're up by 4.
Yeah.
Got Pewaukee Westphalia at the free throw line.
Yeah.
So I guess Pewaukee's up 5 now.
Yeah.
They've done a great job over at Schoolcraft. Jimmy Miller's a junior. He's 6'8". Really emerged. He's grown a lot in the last few years. And at the same time, Pewaukee Westphalia are no slouches when you talk about high school basketball, especially Division III, Class C, whatever they've been, for the last 20 plus years, they've always been in the mix.
Yeah.
Now are they going to be able to get over the hurdle here?
Right.
They've got 3.5 minutes to do it, so.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, Schoolcraft in their regional final only had like 6 guys healthy to play in that game. That was it. They were severely depleted, and they were able to get that win against their rival, Kalamazoo Christian, on Thursday night. So that's what's happening in D3. Let's go over to the D4 bracket. Let's see what is happening in terms of the teams that we're playing today, and then also take a look in, hopefully, at Wyoming Tri-Unity and Adrian Lenawee, if we can. But that'll be next. So Division 4 bracket right now, Forest Park and Pickford, Wyoming Tri-Unity and Adrian Lenawee Christian, Bel Air and Fowler. And it looks like we just have the end of a game right here, and it looks like Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian beats, who's that?
Lenawee Christian.
Lenawee Christian, sorry. Adrian Lenawee Christian, 56-43. And that was expected.
Yes, yeah, and they already played this game earlier in the season as well. So this is an opportunity for Lenawee Christian to get their get-backs. Tri-Unity, I think maybe a little bit more seasoned at this time. At the same time, Lenawee Christian, I don't think that they're going anywhere. They've got a really strong team. Coach Summers doing a great job. And then Jackson Sullenbein, in my opinion, is the top player in Division 4. He's only a junior. So I know that, sometimes losing in the quarterfinals will bring a little bit more hunger for the next season. And wow, 2025-26, that seems like a long time. So.
All right, so we're going to try and get to our first highlight batch of the night. So we want to get to some action that happened in Division 4, and it was Allen Park Inner City Baptist taking on Kingston, right? So 23-3, Inner City Baptist comes in. Kingston 18-6 this game at West Bloomfield. This is one more rematch from last year's quarterfinals, in which Inner City Baptist won 58-46. And the junior guard Ethan Essie is starring again for Inner City's, averaging over 22 points and 64 three-pointers on the season. Adam Durasso also among Kingston's leaders with the team high 18. So let's get into it. Kingston got the first basket. This is Nicholas Cummings, who is going to score, the junior, underneath. Again, more first quarter action. And this again is Kingston on the run again. This is Colin Corliss, the junior, with the up and under and going to the line. But Inner City would start rolling as well. Ethan Essie, who I mentioned here at the top, again averaging 22 points a game. The junior inside lays it up and in. Essie was not done, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't know if that's it, but if it is, Ethan again doing the triple from the top. So the junior getting it done, and again adding to his points. Essay. Essay.
We're going to call him 22E.
Yeah, 22E. Essay. All right, so Carlos Jackson, the junior, is going to step up at the top of the arch and knock this one down. So that was scoring we had from the first quarter. Let's move our way into the second quarter. We're going to get a bucket right there by Corliss again. Then Kingston is also going to find the bottom of the net again. This is number 11, Michael Jenkins, the senior. Even though it's number 10 there, is what I was given. The Inner City three-pointer is coming up next. It's Jackson Dawson, the sophomore, with the drainage. And Essay is going to get it done again. The junior having a night himself. Count it. Let's go to the second half. We're going to get some second half action here. Third quarter, Kingston not going away. Austin DeRosu inside, the senior, with the basket. Next up, it's going to be another Kingston run, and it's going to be Nicholas Cummings. We mentioned him with the first basket in the game. He'll get another here. The junior stops or picks up the loose ball, and then fires and fills it. Let's go back to Inner City, putting it on. Mason Kowalski is going to find some success off the rebound. And then, what's that? Sounds good. Jackson Dawson, the sophomore, is also going to fire and fill it. And as we go into the fourth, Inner City Baptist is ahead. Let's go to the fourth quarter, some action here. Kingston with the steal. It's going to be DeRosu underneath. And this is not deja vu. It's going to be DeRosu or DeRosau again underneath. But Inner City and Ethan Essay just too much on this evening. Double twos going up and getting it. And then he will also finish out the scoring for Allen Park Inner City Baptist as they win this game and head to the Breslin Center by a final score of 63-50. And we also have some post-game sound here following the big win.
It was all business. Obviously last year it hurt, right?
Yes, sir.
Getting back to East Lansing, was that a goal for you guys?
Yes, sir. I mean, that's what we wanted. That's what we expected, and we got the job done. Now we just got another step to our ultimate goal.
And then just talk about this team as a whole, because you know, every time that Kingston tried to go on a run, you guys shut them down and were able to hit some outside shots. Talk about that.
Yeah, I got great teammates. I mean, I got guys that'll pick me up, and I'll pick them up. Got great shooters. We got people that make plays on defense, make little plays that fans don't always see. But I got great teammates, best teammates, and that's why we have success, because we're all together as a unit.
I don't know if you know about this. Maybe you do. 40 years ago, this team won a state title.
Yes, sir.
Your head coach was on that team.
Yes, sir.
What would it mean to you guys if you could complete that goal?
I mean, that's the goal. That's what we want to do. We're not going to East Lansing to just go there to just enjoy it. We're going to win, and that's the goal, and that's what we plan on doing.
First, I want to talk about your team, because You know, it felt like business as usual when you won this game. Not a lot of celebrating.
Right.
Was this something that was always on your mind after, the tough way you guys lost last year?
It is. I think two things. This was not our goal. Our goal is another step forward. And I don't think we played well. I hate to always say that because I never want to take credit away from teams that play well. And so they did things that that they shut us down, but we didn't play the level that we know we're capable. So and our goal's ahead of us. So we just kind of said, all right, next goal. So it's a little different than last year. Last year we were so excited just to be here, and now we know what it's going to be, what it's going to take.
What was your message to the guys after this one, Coach?
You know what? You're not celebrating, and you're not celebrating because you know this was not the goal. And a year ago we celebrated, and we knew what happened. This year, we're just taking it in stride, and the next one is a bigger game.
And then obviously, just touching back, having some fun right after 29 years old. 40 years ago, with you winning that, and I know that's the ultimate goal, and you're going game to game. But you think about that at all?
You know, when I started, probably this is my 36th year, about the year 32 or 33, went to the quarters, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to happen all the time. And we've had some really, really good teams, and we just would get beat by a really, really, really good team, and probably some bad coaching throughout the past. And, I've made a couple, but I thought I'd be here more, I'll be honest. And the reality is I'm enjoying this and appreciating this because I realize over the years how hard it is to get here. And, it just doesn't happen all the time. No matter how talented a team may be, you run into a unique team or, it's one of those nights that just didn't work. So we're happy to be here. And, yes, I am reminiscent. I'm getting a lot of my teammates calling me. They're hard to believe that we're close with 40 years that this is it, right? That we're getting close. That would be the year 40, if that would be the case. Who knows? We got a lot of work ahead of us. That's for sure.
Intercity Baptist.
Hey, Allen Park Intercity Baptist. Hey, congratulations to Mark Kratz. Hey, the guys are working hard. I had an opportunity to watch Allen Park Intercity Baptist warming up. They played Cass Tech. At Cass Tech the week before the playoffs, hung tight with them the entire game. I really love Mason Kowalski. We talked about Double E, number 22, in the highlights there. And then I also really like Carlos Jackson. Hey, hats off to Mark Kratz. I know he's super happy. He's got his sons on the bench, Garrett and Ethan. Ethan's assist record was just broken by Lance Stone earlier this season. So, hey, hats off to them. We'll see them at the Breslin on Thursday. So many times they've had to, the monkey on their back was Southfield Christian, and that was something that they weren't able to get through, and now they're yes, Mark Kratz, this is where they're supposed to be. Yes,
it's our time.
Yep.
All right, well, congratulations, Coach Kratz. And
then we've also got Carman-Ainsworth that just wound up beating Byron Center, so big win there.
Yes, and they have, again, now moved their winning streak to 10. So congratulations to them. We'll update the brackets and all of that later. We do have one game that is still going on that we had here already in our queue, ready to go. And this, again, is back at Kalamazoo Norix High School, which is where we have Pewamo, Westphalia, and Schoolcraft going at it. Looks like Schoolcraft still with a 5-point lead. Yep.
Hey, they're hanging in there. They're doing a fantastic job. If you look at Pewamo, Westphalia, I'll tell you this: another team that's based in the Lansing area.
Yep.
I'll tell you this: if you haven't gotten your tickets for the Breslin yet, I would highly suggest going online and taking care of that business now, or otherwise you might be buying them from somebody in the parking lot.
I mean, Pewamo's last state title win was the one over Iron Mountain. We all remember how that
I do remember that. The travel.
Yeah.
The travel at the end. Oh, wow.
Lost last year to Grand Rapids Covenant Christian in the regional final. So they're happy to be back in here. They beat North Muskegon for the third year in a row in the regionals. And this time it was the regional finale to get them to this game. They're trying to claw themselves back in it, but they trail right now 47-41.
Yeah, and Grady Eklund at Pewamo, Westphalia, he's only a junior. He's one of the best guys one of the best players out there. His older brother's playing at Northwood right now. So, there's a little bit of something in the water at the Eklund household.
Yeah.
Congrats to them. And if they wind up pulling this off, I know Coach Dominic Schneider, I think he'll be pretty happy with 22 seconds left in this. Looks like Schoolcraft is going to have to they're going to look for a prayer here. if they're going to pull this off, and they're going to need the basketball gods looking out for them as they inbound the ball here.
Yep.
Now it's going to come down to making free throws. And this is one of those things when you're practicing and I don't know one kid who's never played basketball who hasn't been there, whether you're practicing hitting the game-winning shot, you're practicing with your free throws. Hey, the game is on the line. I mean, we're all familiar with Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo goes out and shoots his 100 free throws because when he was playing in the MHSA, wound up missing a free throw when he was at Iron Mountain High School, and they wound up losing. And you talk about, Izzo's like 78, 79 years old.
Yeah. Exactly. what can
so he's been thinking about this for 60 plus years.
Yeah. What can you say about Pewamo, Westphalia, and what can you say also about Schoolcraft? But I think for the fact that this is a team that is pretty battle tested. 23 wins this year for Pewamo, Westphalia.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about Pewamo, Westphalia, they understand the mission. They're not ducking any opponents. I know I've been watching them for many, many years. They do a great job of scheduling and going out to playing in some events. They played in Cornerstone. They played in Grand Blanc this year. They actually lost to Flint Carman-Ainsworth. Early part of January, wound up losing by 4 points. So they're battle tested. They've got games that will lost against Grand Rapids South Christian, but sometimes playing those larger schools can definitely help you when you're talking about advancing. They've got to win over Grand Blanc, so they're playing Division I teams. And when it comes down to it, they wind up playing Hudsonville, who has been in our top 25. They wound up losing that game pretty handily, but at the same time, it's the preparation, if you ask me, which really let's say this. Gives you the experience for these games right here.
Right.
And not only that, you're playing in front of them. It looks like a really strong crowd there. Here we go, Pewamo, Westphalia up 5, 8.5 seconds to go. Looks like they're going to be headed to the Breslin Center. So you look at some of the familiarity, I'm sure that they'll be able to talk with the Carman-Ainsworth guys if they're so lucky both to be playing on Saturday afternoon. Yeah,
so in last weekend's regional, Grady Eklund was the guy that paced Pewamo, Westphalia, had 12 points, 10 rebounds. He's averaging 17 and a half a game, so he's doing well. Trent Piggott, also for Pewamo, is his sister Nicole Piggott. I'm sure it's his sister. Went to Oakland University and played. So again, length of court pass there in a bucket. This one is academic. This one is over, and Pewamo, Westphalia is going to be moving on.
Yeah, and look at Coach Schneider over here. Hey, we're not fouling. We're just going to let them go. If they wind up scoring the bucket, we're just going to let the ball sit. You have 5 seconds to inbound the ball. High school basketball, there is no stoppage. So, hey, cats off to Pewamo, Westphalia. Congratulations.
Yeah, and there's no trophy for this game, right? It's just for the right to move on, and I think that's what makes it so special. It's like this is your first truly do or die. You're this close to getting to the Breslin Center. So for Pewamo to get back there, to do it again, this is a team that has had a lot of success in the past, but it's been a minute. And so now they're back there on the big stage, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah, they've got a vibrant basketball community at Pewamo, Westphalia.
Yeah.
And the thing about what's so hard about watching a lot of these games is you see seniors where this is going to be their last game ever playing basketball. In this kind of setting, in a high school, let's say this was structure. Yeah, they're going to be kids that are only playing intramural. They'll wind up playing in further on in life and stuff like that. But high school basketball is when you're playing with your brothers. Guys that you wind up growing up with.
Right.
Vast majority of especially small town. They've known their guy. Everybody's been friends and hung out together since they were 7 and 8 years old.
That's right.
So the great chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
And
gotta love it.
But for the juniors, I think what you got to do. You just got to get in sophomores and freshmen.
That's right.
You got to go out there and say, hey, you got to be just as hungry. The work goes in during the summer.
Schoolcraft will be back.
Schoolcraft has a very strong chance of being back. So.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to highlights here in a second. I do want to just respond to a couple comments. Harry Gentry, thanks for chiming in on YouTube. You said you were hoping for Byron Center. Well, I think you got your wish. Oh no, you did not get your wish. Unfortunately,
no wishes. No wishes.
Sorry.
Different genie.
I apologize. But Byron Center will be back. They're good in a lot of sports. So if you're a Byron Center fan, you got plenty to root for. Who do you think? And this is by Jiffy Pop.
All right.
who has the easiest trip to the finals in any division? Who do you think, looking at tonight, onto the semifinals, to the finals, just to get there?
Wow, I mean, I'd really have to look over everything. I know that a lot of people are looking at.
Maybe we'll re-answer that question at the end of the show when we update our brackets. How about that?
I do like that. I do like that.
All right, so we will do that now. All the games that we had in our queue are finished as far as live, but we're going to keep an eye on what's happening here for some other games that are happening, including.
King Wayne Memorial?
Yep, King and Wayne Memorial. We'll keep an eye on these games, and we'll be able to tell you what's happening. We do have some highlights already from games that took place earlier. We're going to get to one right now, and this is what took place in Division I. This will lead us into our Mr. Basketball talk as well. Orchard Lake St. Mary's taking on L'Anse Creuse North. This game was out at Callahan Hall, and Orchard Lake St. Mary's is one of those teams that we have a feeling is ready to make another run, but would they get over the Mr. Basketball jinx? They did, to say it quickly, but Mateen Cleaves had a three-pointer start, and then it was Cleaves again, and that is right, that is Mateen Cleaves. Trey McKinney, of course, fresh off the Mr. Basketball honor, getting it done, both on the assists and in the bucket. Jordan Savory getting it done. And this was a relatively pretty easy win for Orchard Lake St. Mary's as they take this one 73-42 was the final. And Orchard Lake St. Mary's moving on in Division I. I mean, if you're L'Anse Creuse North, you really were playing with house money.
Yes.
You know, to be here. But hey, you upset Warren De La Salle, and you got an opportunity to do it here and face a guy like Trey McKinney, fresh off being named Mr. Basketball. So congratulations to Orchard Lake St. Mary's. They move on.
Yeah, the Eaglets are playing with a mission. You know, everybody's locked in. They're all focused. They know that they have an opportunity to come out and repeat. First time to repeat in Division I since Clarkston was 2017 and 18, I believe, or 16 and 17.
Right.
So, hey, hats off to the Eaglets for taking care of business. For Kurt Wilson's squad over at L'Anse Creuse North, the Crusaders, hey, hats off to them for sticking with it. You know, they were down by 7 or 8 points, I think, in the fourth quarter, late third quarter to Warren De La Salle. So them coming back and wind up overcoming or defeating De La Salle, that was huge for them. And yeah, are they playing with house money? I think that they maybe saw that a little bit. At the same time, you don't want to count yourself short when you're that close.
All right, well, we're keeping an eye on here on Detroit Martin Luther King and Wayne Memorial. It's about a minute 41. Are they in the third?
There's the third quarter. Yep.
This is still the third. So this game obviously got started a little bit later.
Yep.
And so, you know, hey, King got a nice little tournament path for them laid out, you know, and here they are in the corners, just their second ever regional title last week with victories over Dearborn and Lincoln Park. So now the challenge of Wayne Memorial tonight, 23 wins for Wayne Memorial. Its first regional title by beating UD Jesuit in last week's regional final. So these are two teams probably didn't expect to be playing, but now they're like, why not us?
Yeah, right. And, well, I'll say this.
And it's, by the way, 39-30 Wayne.
Yep.
Wayne Memorial.
Yep, Stephen Miller just hit a couple of jumpers there, or a couple of 1 or 2 free throws. The thing about, you know, we talked about earlier, you know, with the question talking about who has the easiest path. You know, some would say maybe Detroit King in Division I. Yeah, they had to beat Dearborn. Dearborn was ranked, but that was the only team that's been ranked the entire year that they've had to play, you know, coming out of that district. I mean, you look at, you know, Cass Tech wound up losing to Grosse Pointe North, then King wound up beating Grosse Pointe North, you know, to advance their ways to the regionals.
Right.
Then you talk about wins over Lincoln, and then Dearborn. I thought that King did a great job. I talked to George Ward, head coach George Ward, after their win versus Dearborn. I thought they did a great job of sticking with the game plan. One thing about this game, and I was able to talk with Coach Brooks, the head coach at Wayne Memorial, after their win versus University of Detroit Jesuit, and that was from last Thursday, is that King and Wayne Memorial know each other very, very well. The coaches know each other very, very well. They've been doing this for quite a while. Now, if George Ward does wind up making it back to the Breslin, that'll be his first trip, I believe, since 2011, where he was with Detroit Southeastern, and wound up making the trip with Brandon Kearney, Percy Gibson, Ed Brown, and others. So And not only that, I think that he's got a little bit of a coaching tree going on as well. DJ Clark we used to play for King. But he's head coach at Romulus Summit. So that's also been fun thing for me to track. And I'm going to imagine other basketball junkies and saying, oh, I remember watching that player when he was in high school, or that coach was an assistant coach under another team that's now having success. So
Wayne Memorial leading King by 11 about a minute to go in the third. So that's what's happening in that game. In the meantime, we talked about the Byron Center Flint Carman-Ainsworth game, and I am really sorry for you, Harry Gentry, that Byron Center was not able to advance. But we do have some highlights. So why don't we pull those up and get right to it. And Flint Carman-Ainsworth taking on Byron Center. And this was a game that was fairly close late. So here we have Fred Thomas, who nails the three ball that made it 54-51 Carman-Ainsworth. Then it's going to be Cassius Bont, who had a great opportunity to nail the equalizer right here. But no, too short. So that is the final score. And we had an opportunity to catch up with Fred Thomas, the fourth, I believe.
All right, man, you guys are headed back to the Breslin. Just talk to me about that feeling.
It feels great. Breslin last time, we didn't get the job done, had a buzzer beater on us, and can't wait to get back and just finish the job this time.
What makes this team a little different than last year?
Definitely picked up Bryce White. He's definitely been a huge help to us, bringing up the ball and defense. He's just an overall good player, and he's really helped us this year.
And what's just the team mentality going into the semifinals this year?
Just one game at a time and just win every game. Just keep going.
All right, Coach, you guys are headed back to the Breslin this year. Just describe to me that feeling.
That's great. Anytime you can get there, right? It's been a good season. Excited for my kids. Excited for that. They've worked very hard to get here, and to see that they got back there, but our job's not done yet, hopefully.
What makes this team different than last year's?
Maturity, a little bit more mature. Obviously, they've gotten bigger. I know a little bit about basketball, very high IQ, but it was just them playing together for the last, 4 years. It's an advantage.
What's been the team mentality this playoff and just going into the semifinals?
We wanted to get to Breslin. That was the top goal. We want to try and our goal, honestly, is to practice the last day we possibly can. So we're going to celebrate this for the next 6-7 hours and then get back and see if we can win a semifinal.
All right, so we just had some sound from Riverview Gabriel Richard from a player and coach after they have defeated Jackson Lumen Christi tonight 63-30. We're going to get to highlights of that game just a little bit later. But now we want to get to the sound that we had featuring Fred Thomas IV of Flint Carman-Ainsworth, who defeated Byron Center tonight and moving on into the state semifinals. Let's get to that.
What does this one mean for you guys?
It means everything. Our coach hasn't been to the press, but we got him there this year. That was our goal. We had to get him there.
Take me through that last play. What the coach called in the huddle and what you see on the floor?
The play was to just get our best shot. We saw a mismatch. They underplayed it. I threw it to our big. He threw it back, and I knocked down the shot.
How exciting is it for you to be the one that sends this team to the Breslin?
It means everything. I work so hard. We as a team work hard. I can't take no credit. We give all glory to God. We got to work.
Who's it?
Good job.
All right.
Good job. You're moving on, guys. So we're going to get to some highlights now, as I promised, for Riverview Gabriel Richard. Hey, we're live.
Yeah.
We're just live, having a good time tonight. Hoping you're having a good time tonight. We love state quarterfinal basketball, so we're just here rocking and rolling. We're going to bring it to you as we get it, and that is what we call State Champ Score. And you like it here? You like it here, or you're going to like it in football coming up in the fall when we're doing the state champs version of Red Zone. So we're just right now working our way through the kinks, and we're going to get there. So let's get to some highlights featuring Riverview, Gabriel Richard, and Jackson Lumen Christi. This game taking place at Ypsilanti Lincoln High School. Jackson Lumen Christi 23-3 coming in. Riverview Gabriel Richard 22-2. Another quarterfinal rematch from last season. Played on the same floor. Gabriel Richard won last last year's meeting 58-44, and it's 2 with Lumen this winter, 88-65 and 82-48 on the way to claiming High School League AA and Cardinal Tournament championships. So we've got highlights. Obviously, you saw there Austin losing or Charles Case dropping the bunny. Now it is going to be Austin Luzon to the hoop. And Gabriel Richard was down 20-16 at the half. As we make our way into the second half, it's going to be Nick Sobush who is going to take it to the hole.
Yeah, I think Sobush is headed to Siena Heights.
44,
strong player.
44-24 after the third. And then it's going to be Sobush, the Wayne State commit, Luke Westerdale.
Yes.
Who is there to put the icing on the cake, 62-30. You've already heard sound from the coach. And also Gabriel Richard, another team riding a 17-game winning streak. And they kept that one alive. They have not lost in 2025 yet.
Well, that's great. I mean, Chris Dyack, the head coach, doing a great job. He's fortunate that he's got some seasoned guys that have been to the Breslin in the past.
Last season.
Yes, and so when I looked at, they were my favorite to win Division III this year, just because of everybody that they brought back. And anytime you've got in your Division III, so Charles Cage headed to Saginaw Valley State. You've got Westerdale, who's headed to Wayne State. Sobush is going to go play in college. We saw Everingham with his interview earlier today. So you talk about 4 guys that are on a Division III team, and not only that, they do a great job of spreading the wealth.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
and you
saying?
remember they lost to Old Redford 43-41 in the semifinal last year.
That was a heck of a game.
It was
Man, there were some great threes in that game.
Yes, so they have come back, and they could be the most dominant team in Division III.
I'm picking them as I'm looking at the Final Four. It's already set up. You've got ATAP.
And we'll look at the brackets later for sure. For sure. All right, why don't we work on another highlight package here? This is one from a game that took place earlier today. It was a 5:30 game between Arts and Technology Academy of Pontiac taking on Flint New Standard Academy. This game taking place at SC4 in Division III. So another team, 2 teams out of Division III in this quarterfinal. Flint New Standard Academy 16-8 under the direction of head coach Greg McMath. New Standard won its first ever regional championship last week by beating Harbor Beach. So in the regional round. So here, Pontiac driving to the bucket. Lewis Lovejoy has the first bucket for the Arts and Technology Academy. Jeffrey Turner for Flint New Standard gonna take it to the tin here momentarily. Then we've got some defensive play here. A steal and the bucket by Terrence Hicks. The 360 drops flush. And then we're going to get another steal. This time it's going to be Tayshawn Hicks who will get it and have the lay-in. 42-24, Flint New Standard Academy led at the half. As we made our way into the second half, more defense from Flint. Carter George to Hicks for the lay-in. Count it. Flint staying in it though, and we're about to check out somebody dropping down the 2-hand jackhammer. Booyah!
Yep.
But it was too much. Pontiac Arts and Technology Academy. Lovejoy with the steal. Hicks to Grandison for the bucket. And so the final score in this one, ATAP beats Flint Elite 74-44. And I understand also we got some sound following this one.
Talk about the way you guys jumped on them right from the start.
You know, we warmed up well. We was at the school. We got a good warm-up in at the school. Came here, warmed up for about 40 minutes. We got a good little warm-up in. So,
what did you think was the key for you guys tonight?
Definitely defense, playing together, closing the game out like Coach always tells us to do.
What's it mean to make it to the Bres?
Man, it's everything to me, man. Everybody see me on TV. I just love it. It's a great experience.
Can you win 2 more games?
Definitely. I believe in my guys, definitely.
What's it mean to be going to the Bres?
Feels good. I'm a freshman year. Going to Breslin feels good. A lot of hard work went into it.
Can you talk about the way you guys took control of that
key for the way you guys played tonight?
Oh, defense. Defense. So we try to not foul a lot of games, and we get foul trouble early. So our whole guard plays good defense, and our offense gonna come.
And now that you're going to the Brass, can this team win it?
Yes. I feel good. We are very disciplined team. We can win it.
Can you start just with the way your guys came out right at the jump?
The intensity. We really prepared very hard. We warmed up very hard today, and we wanted to see was the team going to match our energy. Our guys did a good job, I feel like, warming up extremely hard before we got to the gym and when we actually got to the gym. So I don't think that the other team was really ready to match the fact that we was already ready. When they decided, or when they finally got ready, we was already out.
What do you think was the key as far as the way you guys played?
Run, play to our strength, play to our weakness. Whatever it was, we got out and ran. Our guys did a tremendous job of getting out. Defense was a huge part. We had, I think, 14 steals. So I think it played a major role to our success today.
I talked to a couple of your players. They said defense was the key. I'm sure you like hearing that.
Absolutely. That's where it all starts at, is defense. I really thrive on defense because I believe that's what's going to get you to the next level and help you stay on the court is defense.
And what's it mean for this program to make it to the Breslin Center?
It's a tremendous thing for this program that we make it to the Breslin Center, but not only make it, but actually win it.
What's it going to take for you to win 2 more games?
More steals, more coming out just like we did, defensive rebounds, and let the offense come to us.
So there you go.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Lewis Lovejoy's had a fantastic year. This is his first year coaching ATAP.
Orlando Lovejoy.
Orlando Lovejoy coaching his younger son, Lewis Lovejoy, who's only a freshman.
Yep.
Don't be surprised if you wind up seeing this matchup down the road. Keshawn Gill, one of the top freshmen in the state. I'd like to say maybe in a couple of years he might be one of the top players in the country, as well as Lewis Lovejoy. If you're familiar with the Lovejoy family, Orlando Lovejoy played at Romulus Summit Academy. Is currently at University of Detroit. Going to Eastern Michigan for his freshman and sophomore years. But yeah, Orlando Lovejoy, obviously he's loving basketball. He knows where to keep his sons, and that's in the gym, and they're doing a fantastic job. So hats off to the Lions of ATAP, and now they get to move on to the Breslin Center, and like you said, they got to play better defense, get more steals, and if they wind up winning, I think they'll play Ishpeming, and then if they wind up winning that game, then they'll get the winner of the Riverview Gabriel Richard, and I've got their opponent, Pewamo Westphalia.
Right.
So speaking of Pewamo Westphalia, just got a text from Coach Snyder. Yeah, he's up on it quick.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, gotta love that.
We got some comments coming in too.
Yep. So Grady Eklund finished the game with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and then Brady Heckman finished with 11 points, 5 assists, and then you've got Tucker Walter, who also finished with 17 points. So it's more than Grady Eklund when you talk about Pewamo Westphalia, and they're definitely going to need as much as they can get. And not only that, they're prepared. They know what Riverview Gabriel Richard has.
Yes.
Riverview Gabriel Richard knows what Pewamo Westphalia has, and so it's just going to make for that better of a game when you talk about Thursday afternoon.
Absolutely, and I would say for Riverview Gabriel Richard, they probably are very much looking forward to this matchup. A tough, gritty matchup they're going to, because they won pretty handily today. And you know what I mean? So they want to go in and have momentum going into the finals, feeling that they had to really earn one.
Yeah,
so
unfinished business.
I think it'll be a good game. I think it's going to be a great game. And we'll show you the entire Division III bracket at the end. So we're done talking a little Division III right now, but we are going to get into some highlights from Byron Center and Flint Carman-Ainsworth. So we've been talking about this game, and now we've got some highlights to share with you. Again, Byron Center coming in 20-6. Flint Carman-Ainsworth 21-5. Carman-Ainsworth has looked like a different team the last 9 games on this winning streak, looking to make it 10. And so Byron Center, number 2, Keon Hinkle from downtown, the senior, getting it done right away. For Carman-Ainsworth, the number 1, Donovan Hawk Hamlin bucket and 1, the senior, getting FCA on the map. Byron Center then is going to come back. Cassius Bont is going to be able to drop a 3-point. We just wanted to show you this move. We had to freeze it for you. We'll have to bring it back. So
slow motion.
Hey, the computers are running hot. We got to give a shout out to the crew, the State Champs crew here. Everybody working hard, staying late, on a Tuesday night. Here we are just for the fans. Again, TJ and I may be doing a lot of talking. We got a lot of guys working in the background. We got all the offices filled, just cutting highlights, trying to get everything we can to bring to you. So we'll get back to the highlights. We'd already mentioned a little bit about Byron Center and Carman-Ainsworth. So why don't we just kind of pick it up where we left off right here. This is going to be Flint, Carman-Ainsworth. Is that Raphael Murphy?
Yep.
To the taking it to the house, and I think Fred, and then I could be wrong. I didn't see where we're picking this up exactly. We got a bucket up top. Cassius Bont for Byron Center, the junior, knocking it down, and so a big shot for him. And now we're going to have Donovan Hawk Hamlin with the bucket, so the senior, and then Flint Carman-Ainsworth going to come back. Donovan Hawk Hamlin is going to get. Or check that, Marquin Deuce Weston, right? With the three-pointer there, yes, number 4, there he is. So now we're caught up. We're going to the third quarter. Byron Center's number 2, Keon Hinkle from downtown. He knocks it down. And then also Bont is going to this time get a bucket from down under. But it was going to be too much. Flint Carman-Ainsworth as Raphael Murphy Jr. is going to get the steal, and he is going to take it home. And then it's going to be Fred Thomas IV with the dagger from long distance. (54-51), Carman-Ainsworth gets the victory.
Hey, like we talked about earlier, how many times do you practice hitting that shot? Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's in your driveway, but I tell you what, I just know as a kid growing up, that was me counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course, I was coming across the made imaginary screens because I wasn't a very good dribbler. Yeah. So I had to
Let's check in with that King game.
Yep,
what's happening there? We're just going to give you an update on what's happening in that one. And it looks like Wayne Memorial firmly in control, 63-41, with about 1:45 left to go in the game. So we will have highlights of that at some point, but looks like Wayne Memorial going to get a big win.
Yep, well, looks like Wayne Memorial. They'll wind up playing Flint Carman-Ainsworth more than likely, unless Reggie Miller steps up, puts on a King jersey, or Greg Graves maybe.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then on the other side of that bracket, you've got East Lansing and Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Yeah.
That's a game that's already been played. Trey McKinney didn't play in that game.
Yeah.
That game was also played in Grand Rapids. So you talk about a neutral court. East Lansing wound up getting it, but they didn't have their big gunner, Mr. Basketball, Trey McKinney. So, hey, we're going to find out what East Lansing's made of. Cam Hudson left off of the Mr. Basketball list, so maybe that's a player that is just going to play with a little bit more energy, saying, hey, I want to get my respect out there as well. And while Orchard Lake St. Mary's is going to be looking for their get-backs.
Speaking of Mr. Basketball, what a beautiful segue that we can get into. We showed you some Orchard Lake St. Mary's highlights earlier, so why don't we get some of the pomp and circumstance that took place yesterday as Trey McKinney was named Michigan Mr. Basketball for 2025. There it is, the Hal Schramm Mr. Basketball Award, already engraved in Trey McKinney's name. You kind of had this thing engraved the moment he took the court for Orchard Lake St. Mary's as a freshman.
Well, maybe not as a freshman, but I'll say this, maybe because we have to remember, as a freshman, Phoenix Glassner also won a state title, and he was one of the guys that put himself on the map. I think that what Trey's been able to do, since then is, really brought us to separation, obviously, with a championship, winning last year. You do that in front of a lot of voters, in front of a lot of the BCAM voters. You're doing it in front of the Detroit Free Press. It's their award. And so, hats off to Trey McKinney. I had an opportunity to interview him, and one of the hardest workers that I've known. He shoots, his shots are at a very high degree of difficulty, and at the same time, you talk to him, he's not shooting, he's not, let's say this, attempting shots that he hasn't practiced in the past. So
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Of the last several Mr. Basketball, say over the last decade, who does he remind you the most of?
Oh, wow. You know what, and let's say this, I think that maybe in this instance you have to look at some of the other guys who won state titles as a junior and then have the same opportunity as a senior. So many of them just day or two after winning. Foster Lawyer being one. Deshaun Thrower, no, because they only won the one. But yeah, there haven't been
and
a lot of
Scooby was
guys.
a year in between.
Scooby Johnson, you know what? Scooby Johnson might be a wonderful comparison.
Okay.
And I like that just because he kind of comes in and says, what position is he going to go play? And then you look at his stats and boom, you feel, hey, double digits here, double digits there. Then you look at his assists and he's making great passes and really getting his team involved. Maybe we know Scooby Johnson, the shot heard around the world when he wound up hitting that three.
As a sophomore.
As a sophomore with over an extended Marcus Bingham hand at 7 foot with a 7.5 wingspan. So it was like one of those things where, hey, again, that buzzer beater right there. I know that Benton Harbor, Corey Sterling, and that group, they definitely like to get back to the Breslin. They're hungry. I actually saw Wilson Chandler at. I saw Wilson Chandler today at Callahan Hall. He was one of 2 Mr. Basketballs there, Manny Harris being the other. So just seeing the Mr. Basketballs, they like to kind of monitor and see, hey, now that you're a part of the club, what you got.
That's right. Absolutely.
And you're talking about guys, Wilson.
They need like some sort of like jacket.
Whatever.
Once you win Mr. Basketball. Man,
and see how much time has flown and stuff like that. Wilson Chandler, he's approaching 40 years old, you know.
Manny Fresh. I'd like to see Manny Fresh come back with that.
Hey, I got to talk with Corporial. Corporial Manny Harris, and I'm like, hey, I remember when you were my height, and all of a sudden, he's 6'5", still weighing 170 pounds. I think when he got onto Michigan's campus, he was there when Beeline was first there, and then wound up going on to the NBA after his junior year.
We could go on and on forever, but instead, as he referenced, TJ had a chance to talk to Mr. Basketball Trey McKinney immediately following him being named the award down at the Freet Building in downtown Detroit. So why don't we go ahead and play that interview for you now.
Hey everybody, TJ Kelley here with State Champs. Hey, congratulations, standing here with Mr. Basketball 2025 in the state of Michigan, Trey McKinney out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Hey, congratulations. What do you have to say for the Michigan commit?
I'm just really excited. This is a very prestigious award, and only one person gets it every year. So I'm just happy to be part of such an elite group of guys in the past. So, yeah.
You're a consummate winner, and just like so many winners in the past, they wound up winning a state championship either their sophomore year or their junior year. You're such a great teammate. What are some of the things that keep you grounded, knowing that you have all these expectations, but also reeling in your teammates and letting them know the big picture is winning?
My parents, that's what made me, who made me who I am. And, they keep me humble, especially when I come home, I got to cut grass and things like that. So definitely my parents being able to keep me level-headed and make sure that my head is straight for what's next to come.
That's what's up. And so much of life is about preparation. When you got involved in basketball and like the big picture and you really got on the bigger stage and people knew who you were, and I'm talking about pre-high school, what are some of the things that you did? When did the light really go on and say, hey, I can be this good?
I think 8th grade when I started with base fundamentals. I think that definitely helped me, playing on May hoops. But, I just think the preparation, I take it very seriously. I think it's something that's just in me from where I'm from. It's a lot of hard workers from Flint, and my parents are hard workers at what they do. So I think they just poured into me.
Well, looks like your dad's going to be having to work a little bit harder now that you'll be at Ann Arbor next year at the University of Michigan. Have you given him any tips on mowing the grass, taking the garbage out, getting back to the duties that maybe he missed 15 years for the last 10, 15 years?
Oh, he'll be fine. He did it for as long as I can remember until I got of age to start really doing it. So he'll be fine. He remembers how to do it.
Well, I know your dad, and you probably started about 8 or 7 years old or something like that. Now, one other question I wanted to ask. You have 24 points, 10 rebounds this season, 3 assists, 2 steals. What do you pride your game on the most?
I think competing is the biggest part of my game, actually. I think just competing, being competitive, I don't really take it lightly on the court. I compete. I'm a competitor. So I think just getting after on the floor is what I pride myself most in.
All right. Hey, well, congratulations once again for winning 2025 Mr. Basketball. What advice would you give to future candidates?
Really just don't focus about the awards. Don't focus on the awards. Just focus on being who you are. Stay in the gym. Stay listening to your parents. Just don't let all the outside noise get to you, and just stay in the gym and focus on what you need to.
All right. Hey, well, congratulations. Hey, TJ Kelley here for State Champs Hang Time. And then we've also got the Mr. Basketball winner, Trey McKinney. Congratulations once again. Nice suit.
Nice suit.
Nice suit.
Nice suit. It was a nice suit.
Yeah.
I like to see the young man get dressed. You know, sometimes the guys will show up and, they're a little too casual for an award such as that. So we appreciate the formality. And Trey McKinney, well-deserving and great kid.
Well, John the First.
Yes.
You can't call him the first. You can call him John Trey McKinney.
Right.
But yeah, he's the one that wound up taking his grandson to get fitted for that suit.
Right.
Last week, kind of having, let's say this, an inclination that he might wind up winning. Nothing like buying a suit for something that you didn't win. But hey, I had a chance to talk with Trey, and I don't think that he'll be buying off the rack when it comes to suits in the near future. So,
there you go.
Hey, hats off to Trey and exemplary of a great award winner, Mr. Basketball.
And they won tonight, and they'll be moving on to the state semifinals. So the Mr. Basketball curse, sometimes you'll hear where they'll lose in the quarterfinal right the day after winning. It's happened on several occasions. Did not happen today. Orchard Lake St. Mary's moves on. We're going to go to Division II now, and we're going to get some highlights of Warren Lincoln, the defending Division II state champions, as they took on Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. 14 wins, 14-10 for NDP, yet find themselves in the state quarterfinals. But a tough road to hoe as they were taking on Warren Lincoln, the overwhelming favorite in this one. But to start this game, we're going to feature an NDP jumper by Joseph DeCasas. But Warren Lincoln would then soon assume command. This is Chris Morgan making it feel the pain. So nice job by Chris Morgan there with the dunk. Marcus Blackwell is going to get the steal, and Chris Morgan is going to go up and down again. The single-handed jackhammer there for Chris Morgan. Now, it's going to be more of Marcus Blackwell, who is going to get it to Damarian Bozeman, who gets the bucket. Now, Prep trying to stay in this game, doing their best. It's going to be DeCasas with the contested lay-in coming in right about now. Gets it to fall. But, again, too much of the reigning Division II state champion Warren Lincoln. Blackwell to his brother Marcus. So Moses Blackwell is going to get the alley-oop to his brother Marcus to put this one in the books. 49-30, the final. Warren Lincoln now with a 16-game winning streak beats Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. And a senior-heavy lineup here for the Abes this season. They have a really good shot to get back to the state championship game.
I mean, they've got a wonderful chance. So you look at the finals. Let's see who they've got there.
And let's listen to a little sound we got here.
All right, perfect.
Sorry about that, my friend Chuck. He's got some sound. Let's hear it, and then we'll talk about it.
What was the difference for you guys in the second half?
In the second half, we really just had to buckle down and execute offense, you feel me? Play as a team, and just keep playing hard.
What's it feel like going back to the bread?
I knew we was going back. It's exactly what I expected.
How much does your experience help you guys?
How does what?
How much does your experience help you guys?
I feel like being experienced with being there, you just get used to the feeling, so you really want to go back. So when you've been there before, you know what to expect when it's time to go back.
How much do you guys want to go back to back?
You know we want to go back to back. That was the main goal when the season started. That was the main goal since forever. We always wanted to go to the brass.
Pretty good halftime speech from you?
Yeah, I just told my guys to settle down and, settle in, a little jitters. Just the game to get you to the brass. And so this game is always the most hardest game to get. But my guys was able to settle in, and we put on a defensive clinic that held them to 30 points.
What do you think was the difference for you in the second half?
Defense. This whole state tournament, we ain't gave up 50 points, and we pride ourselves on defense. And my guys locked in the second half. We was able to get it done.
Been there before, but what's it mean to be going back to the brass?
It's a blessing. Every year, every time you get a chance, opportunity to play for your state title, it's what we work for. It's a great feeling. I'm proud of my program and the team.
I heard you right as the clock was coming down there. 2 more, right?
2 more to go. You know, that's our motto. We take our time. We take them 1 quarter at a time, 1 game at a time, and we're looking forward to whoever our opponent is in the Final Four at the Breslin.
So, Wydell and Warren Lincoln back to the Breslin.
Hey, I tell you what, one thing, you know, and one thing Wydell mentioned was that they haven't given up 50 points in this playoffs. They can score 80 points in any game. You're talking about Gian Hutchins, and now let's say this, all the seniors, I'm going to mention a few of them and stuff like that. Demarion Bozeman didn't have a great playoff last year. I know that he's hungry. He can go for 20. We just saw Chris Morgan had a big game. He can hit you with 20. Then you look at Moses Blackwell. He's the guy that stirs the drink as the point guard, gets everybody going and involved. He can go for 20. And then you look at Gian Hutchins, who's headed to Northern Iowa, the Oak Park transfer. I know that he's super geeked because he's the one guy that wasn't on the team last year. And I know that he can go for 20. And then you obviously add in Marcus Blackwell, who I also think has something to prove to the masses, to those who maybe kept him off the BCAM Final Four, the final selection for Mr. Basketball. You're talking about a guy who was a big impact player, the leading scorer on a team that wound up winning the state championship last year. So if there was a guy that maybe could have been the 5th guy, he definitely would have been in that rotation. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's water under the bridge right now, and all the Abes have to do is look forward to Friday's game, their semifinal game, and then they're if they want to make it that far, then the finals. And hopefully we'll have an interview about 10 o'clock on Saturday night. And if Wydell Henry and the Abes are fortunate enough to lift the trophy, they're going to be pretty proud of making the east side of the state happy.
No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, how are ya? Here we are doing State Champ Score here live for you on a Tuesday night. Where else are you going to get this kind of talk? Nowhere. I mean, we have got a team of guys and gals working together, getting highlights for you, getting them from the games. They're feeding them over, a lousy internet service and everything, but it's coming through and we're bringing it to you. Hope you enjoy this. We're enjoying it. We did it in hockey. Those guys did a fabulous job and are so dialed in, which was great. Just trying to hold this basketball thing down here as we get ready for the semifinals coming up. And so what we're going to do, we've been talking in the last 45 minutes a lot about Division III. So why don't we get some more action from Division III, and this is the game featuring Ishpeming Westwood, 21-5, taking on McBain, 23-2. In the first quarter, we are going to have Westwood go up number 10 with the 2-pointer right there. I don't have his name in front of me, but again, just wanted to bring these highlights to you as soon as we had them.
And hats off. McBain, they play a really tough schedule. I saw them earlier in the season when they lost to Maple City Glen Lake. I thought that they had an opportunity to make a strong run. But at the end of the day, hats off to Ishpeming Westwood for getting it done. I'm at 17-11 here after the first quarter. But then, let's see if the bucket goes in. Nope.
Yes.
You'll mess up my
And now we've got fourth quarter action here. And you're right, it would be more Ishpeming Westwood. They last made a quarterfinal in 2016, but never won a state championship in program history. The Patriots had won their last 10 coming into this one, and they were aiming to keep that momentum going against McBain here in today's quarterfinal. Call the and one there. The final score in this one would be 48-40. Ishpeming Westwood takes down McBain today. This game was played at Boyne City. Again, McBain won a state championship just a couple years ago, if you remember. This was its second straight quarterfinal appearance after finishing as a state semifinalist in 2024, but they fall tonight. And so Ishpeming Westwood is moving on to the Breslin Center, and they have to be excited.
Yeah, well, they get, let's say this, for a team that's never won, they get to go against a team that's never been there. ATAP being a very new school.
Yes.
This is Lovejoy's
Arts and Technology Academy of Pontiac we're talking about.
Yep. We got to call them ATAP. We're going to go depths on you.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not saying Detroit Edison. Not only that, Lovejoy's going to be there for the next few years, so might as well get used to ATAP now.
ATAP.
ATAP.
Yeah. So ATAP and Ishpeming Westwood will meet on in the quarterfinals.
Oh, that's going to be a noon game on Thursday.
Noon game on Thursday.
Yep, and then following at 2 o'clock, you've got Riverview Gabriel Richard versus Pewamo Westphalia. So if you look at it from one bracket, you've got a lot of experience, and then on the other side, you've got some newbies to the opportunity.
And that's kind of great. I
Yep.
think all the teams ahead would embrace these matchups. Like I mentioned earlier, Gabriel Richard, they need to have a tough go at it so that they don't go in too cocky, say, to Saturday.
Right.
And Pewamo Westphalia will give them all that they need. Ishpeming Westwood, and again, ATAP, two teams not used to being there. And so they're just going to go at it, have fun, nothing to lose. Why not us is what they're going to say.
And the thing is, I mean, let's say this, I don't know a lot about Ishpeming Westwood, and I feel free of saying that. I don't think that a lot of people in the state, can go through, their roster like a 10-year-old with baseball cards. But at the same time, ATAP, they've got a lot of players, and I'm looking at some of these teams. I know Pewamo Westphalia is going to bring a lot of fans. Riverview Gabriel Richard,
Yes.
And then you've got on the other side, they're going to from up north. You've got a lot of people that are going to be coming to support Ishpeming. And then I don't know if you've watched any of the ATAP games this year. I know I have been in the gym a couple of times, and they bring a great crowd as well. So
sweet. We're looking forward to it. All right, we're going to go back to Division II. We had a matchup tonight that took place at Gaylord High School. Kingsford versus Freeland in Division II. This, again, a state quarterfinal action here tonight. We've got some highlights here featuring Freeland first, and then a couple nice plays by Kingsford. So Freeland has taken care of business in the playoffs thanks to a pretty nice path for them. They won their first regional title since 2022 last week with a dominant showing against both Frankenmuth and Portland, but now obviously the competition is elevated as they take on Kingsford, just like right there, number 12 with the beautiful dunk. And they haven't lost since being Kingsford since late January, riding an 11-game winning streak into this game here. And the Flivers, which is one of the best nicknames in all of Michigan. The Flivers
That'd be the best.
made it this far, knocking out Flint Powers Catholic in last year's quarterfinal, but have largely handled their 4 playoff opponents. All victories coming by 20 points or more. Not in this one. This one down to the wire. They win it, though, 48-46 over Freeland. So Kingsford moving on in Division II.
Hey, hats off to them. We've seen, I thought that Freeland had a great job of making a better run. You said Freeland wound up winning that game?
No, Kingsford ended up winning that game. Yeah.
Yes, all right. Yeah, I'm looking at it here.
Yeah,
so,
there it is.
Hey, they're going to get Romulus Summit Academy. Yep. That's. I hope Kingsford's got their track shoes on because Romulus Summit's going to got really strong guard play and definitely play in the emulation of DJ Clark's, their head coach's style of play when he was back in the PSL. But hey, hats off to Kingsford. They beat a really tough Freeland team. Talk about a couple of guys, Tristan Comer. He's more than likely going to be a Division I football player. But if he was to choose basketball, he would obviously have, not obviously, but he would have scholarship opportunities. And then Wilson Huckabee, one of the better players, one of the better juniors out there. He can really shoot the blood out of the ball. So hey, hats off to Kingsford. They wound up getting it done. I mean, if there was an upset so far on Tuesday night's games, I would say that, but I'm not trying to slight Kingsford in any way possible. And congratulations to them, and they'll be able to make their trip to the Breslin. And
hey, Matt Osterman blowing up our comment feed here. How you doing, Matthew? It's good to hear from you. Matthew's an old school state champs fan, and we appreciate you commenting. I'll get to some of these questions a little bit. You got some good ones there, but unfortunately, Lance Cruz North ran into a buzzsaw tonight. But that is how it plays. Winning a regional title is great for them. All right. Again, state quarterfinals all over the state tonight, and we're talking about all of it, and we've got highlights now from the game that took place at Gladstone in Division IV. Crystal Falls Forest Park, 24-2 on the season, taking on Pickford, 23-2 on the season. This is not 8-player football. This is boys basketball here, the matchup we have between these two in the state quarterfinals. And right off the bat, Forest Park getting it done. Second straight season that they are in here. They are led by the Giulani brothers, senior forward Kevin and sophomore forward Vic. And again, standouts from the 8-player Division II football champion in the fall. But Pickford coming back and playing well tonight as well. This is their first state quarterfinal since the year they won a state championship back in 1992. So it's been a minute since Pickford has won a title. Yet to be really challenged in the playoffs this year, but would need its best game of the season as it was going to take on the top-ranked Crystal Falls Forest Park squad. Again, Pickford was 8-player Division football runner-up, and it was the Division II football champions, Crystal Falls Forest Park. So that's why I mentioned that earlier. Again, we had a close game going into the fourth, 34-32 here. This shot from the corner is good. That put Pickford up, and then they're going to. Looks like they broke the tie with about 7 seconds left right there. That was Crystal Falls Forest Park doing that, and that is how it ended, 45-43. Again, a battle in Division 4 to see who was going to make it to the Breslin.
And one thing, hey, let's look over Forest Park real quick.
Yeah.
2 losses in the season. One of them coming to Kingsford, going to the Breslin Center.
Yep.
The other one to Division I Marquette. Marquette, wound up beating Detroit Cass Tech. So no slouches there at all.
Right.
So, hey, hats off to them. Coach Price is happy. The other thing that I'd like to point out about Crystal Falls Forest Park, they were number 1 in the MPR rankings.
Wow.
And while I sometimes don't agree with the computers, I'm looking over Division 4 with the NPR rankings, and you've got Crystal Falls Forest Park at number 1. At number 2, you've got Tri-Unity Christian. At number 3, you've got Traverse City Christian. But let's skip over them and go to Fowler. They're also in number 4 in the NPR rankings, but they're also going to make a trip to the Breslin. Hats off to the CMAC. Fowler and Pewamo Westphalia are both in the same league, so and only about 10 miles away from each other. So hats off to them. And then the number 6 team in the Division 4 MPR rankings are Allen Park Inner City Baptist. So when you kind of look at it and all the prognostications that go on and stuff like that, I think that MPR is the winner in that one. I don't know if anybody else could have gone and predicted with those teams to make it to the Breslin with the same efficiency that the MPR did. Having 6 teams or 4 of their top 6 teams want to making it to the Thursday's semifinals. So hats off to them.
You're checking out State Champs Score here on State Champs. We're having a blast. I'm Lorne Plant, TJ Kelley, bringing you all the action from today's state quarterfinal action in boys basketball. Boys finishing up before the girls this year, which is always interesting. So we've got state championships going this weekend. How about that preview before your March Madness, right?
Hey, I love it. For me, there's so many times where I'm watching the games at the Breslin, and at the same time, I'm looking at the NCAA games, and we all know that first week of NCAA basketball is some of the best basketball that you're going to see. And so I'm kind of distracted. Now, undivided attention goes to the MHSAA. Yes, to both. And then the thing is, how excited can I be? I'm going to imagine a whole bunch of other basketball fans and saying, now you've got a week afterwards where you really get to enjoy the basketball or college basketball before they wind up going to the Breslin. Or not going to the Breslin, but more even going into, that'd be the Sweet 16 and stuff like that.
March Madness,
the March Madness,
like a pig in slop.
Right. March Madness is where you are.
That's it.
As long as you got a TV in front of you.
Hey guys, we got some more highlights for you here. We are going to go back to Division 2. We had a big matchup that took place at Hamilton High School tonight, and that was between Grand Rapids Catholic Central, 20-7 on the year. They were taking on Marshall, another 20-win team, just 6 losses. So for Marshall, after a 9-14 season last year, rallied to win its first regional title since 1998 last week. So the Redhawks beat both Edwardsburg and Holland Christian, but the competition only gets stiffer in this particular matchup tonight against Grand Rapids Catholic Central, who just knocked down a big bucket there, a big triple. Grand Rapids Catholic Central have not really been on everybody's radar this particular tournament. But again, GRCC, one of those teams that is always going to bring it and always have talented players.
Well, let's look at from Grand Rapids Catholic Central this year. TJ Meerman stepped down last year, so now you have Chris Pearl that just is their head coach. You also lose Mr. Basketball and Fat Brooks, who's at the University of Michigan.
Right.
Hats off to Izzy Lartridge. One of those guys, and this is why I'm saying, like, when people look at young rankings as a freshman and sophomore, well, boom, here's a kid that wound up growing 4 or 5 inches in the last 12 months, and now he's 6'6". He's able to step out, hit the jumper, get to the boards, and it's a tough matchup for an inside-out combination, especially on the Division II level. And hats off to Division II. It just got that much better.
Grand Rapids Catholic Central wins this game 59-43. How about this? So they beat Hudsonville Unity Christian in the playoffs. They beat Grand Rapids South Christian in the playoffs, and now they have taken care of Marshall. The Cougars got to the quarterfinals last year, lost to Grand Rapids Christian, but they were, I would say, the favorite coming into this one, and they win this game, and they are now going back to a scene they're pretty familiar with.
Hey, and this is what the guys live for and stuff like that. I don't think the Cougars came in Grand Rapids Catholic Central. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
You know, I don't think that they came in with any lofty expectations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to come in too cocky as being a first-year coach and say, hey, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that, especially when you're talking about some of the accomplishments that TJ Meerman has had over the last 6 or 7 years.
No question.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Izzy Lartridge, big shoes to fill. He's only a junior, and is anybody realistically going to expect, put themselves and fill the shoes of Fat Brooks? And I don't think that that's necessarily fair to the kids. But yeah, hey, hats off to the kids at Grand Rapids Catholic Central for making that next step. Let's say this, overcoming. Let's say this, maybe regionals, overcoming other wins. They did lose to Grand Rapids South Christian earlier in the season, wound up coming in and beating them. And so if you look at some of the games that they've already played in teams that played tonight, they wound up losing to Byron Center. They wound up losing to Detroit King. But then they also played to Rockford, who's been in our top 5, top 10. So a lot of that seasoning, just from getting experience, has really come through. And, they wound up battle tested. They wound up losing their last game of the regular season of Forest Hills Northern.
But since then, the best thing that could have happened to them.
Hey, without a doubt. Hey, we're hungry. I'm not ready to go home yet.
There is no tomorrow. If you remember that from Rocky.
Yes.
There is no tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting a little giddy here as we get towards the later parts of the evening. But hey, we're here. We're live. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying us. All 23 of you who are watching with us live right now. That's fine. You're 23 of our family, and we're going to bring you some more playoffs. We talked about the fact that Wayne Memorial was able to beat Detroit Martin Luther King tonight. They did in impressive fashion, 70-44. Let's take a look at what happened in that game, and let's get to some highlights. So again, we talked about the fact that for King, again, it's just its second ever regional title last week with victories over Dearborn and Lincoln Park. They may have had a pretty easy path to get here, but they were going to be having everything they could handle, facing a Wayne Memorial team who stunned UD Jesuit 72-70, playing just as good as they have. They've won 19 of their last 20 games, and now taking on Detroit Martin Luther King. And this is a team that, again, led by the junior guard, Carlos Medlock Jr., who we'll talk about in just a bit. But in this one, Wayne came out and was firing off that Jalen McClellan, and then we're going to get Austin Torrey, who is going to throw it down. The one I mentioned, the junior guard, Carlos Medlock Jr., averaging just about 25 points a game, almost 5 assists per game. He gets the miss there, Austin Torrey the rebound and the putback, but it wouldn't be long before Medlock Jr. would get inside and get the and one. So King was trying to hang in this one as Wayne Memorial's lead continued to build, but they were able to make some plays here, trailing in this one, but here, Marion not the layup. But then it's going to be more Wayne Memorial here. Austin Torrey misses the 3. Carlos Medlock with the rebound and the putback. The Zebras feeling it. But King not going into that good night quietly. Not when Drew Floyd says, hey, I need to get involved. I'm going to take it in and one. But now we're going to have just a few more plays. Carlos Medlock is going to get the steal. Austin Torrey is going to send it home.
I'll tell you what, Austin Torrey is they're a team that I saw earlier in the year. They wound up playing Oakville Prep, and he's come a long way. Another kid, he's grown, I think a year ago, he's 6'1", now he's 6'7", 6'6".
Yeah. How about Carlos Medlock getting in on the action? Let's see what you got.
A lot of us remember Medlock. His dad played at Murray, right?
Yes, sir.
Many years ago, and wound up having an illustrious career at Eastern Michigan.
And we talked about Austin Torrey, and he will not disappoint here as Wayne Memorial wins this one 70-44.
Yep. And Jalen Allen, people we didn't get to mention him a lot there, but I tell you this: whoever's doing the game on Friday, the semifinal games, whether it be, I'm trying to think. A few of the guys, Tim McCormick, who might be Kelser, whoever might be doing Jalen Allen, they're going to be mentioning his name as well. And the thing is, if you go out there to stop Carlos Medlock, well, Jalen Allen's going to be the one to get you, and vice versa. And then you've got other guys like Austin Torrey doing a great job stepping up. Stepping up to the challenge that I know Coach Brooks put on him, to start the season. And hey, hats off to Coach Brooks for getting it done. I know that, he's had a lot of success. He's formerly at Ypsilanti. I know that he had a pretty strong teams there going back 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He coached Jalen Allen's older brother, Corey Allen, at Ypsilanti. I think that this was his first trip back to the Breslin, his first quarterfinal trip since Corey Allen's team, and I believe that was 2016. It might have been a little bit, maybe before then. So
okay,
hats off to them.
Ish.
Yes, 2016, 2015.
I would like to at some point, Chuck. I'd like to see the Division I bracket again, and we can kind of fill that in, even if it hasn't been filled in here, but it has. So these are the matchups we're going to have in Division I. We might be getting some more highlights here, so stick with us, folks. And I'm going to get to some of these comments too in a minute. But since we just saw Wayne Memorial advance, they will now take on Flint Carman-Ainsworth. That game is a 2 o'clock game on the 14th. Talk about that matchup.
Hey, again, Carman-Ainsworth. The middle part of their season is where they had some struggles. But they came out of the gate undefeated, I think 5-0, 6-0. And then they wound up, having a loss to Saginaw. I think they lost to, I did know that they lost to Flint Powers.
Yeah.
And I think that they also wound up losing to Grand Blanc.
Right.
And they had a little bit of a lull where they might have lost like 4 of 6 games. But since then, I want to say that since the end of January, they've really been on gangbusters. And obviously, Jay Witham putting in the Cavaliers in a very strong position, to even go that much further. I remember the first first MHSA tournament that I covered. I think it was the 2003, 2004. And they wound up, Coach Root was there for Carman-Ainsworth at the time. And I remember they had a kid, Brandon Stevens, wearing headphones. I was like, man, who does this?
Right.
Now everybody's wearing headphones. Maybe a little bit ahead of his time.
Yeah, exactly. Trendsetter. A trendsetter. All right, we do have some post-game from the Zebras' big victory, Wayne Memorial over King. Let's check that out.
Here we go. You're going to the Breslin, man. That brings a smile to your face. Tell me about what that feels like.
It's a great feeling, we came out short last year, so we just keep preaching that, keep staying locked in. We're going to get here next year, so we just stick to that and see the results.
Tell me about this team, man, and the way you started, man. You jumped on them 12-0 out of the gate. What did you guys say in the locker room coming out? And obviously, whatever you did worked pretty well.
Yeah, we just kept saying they're going to come out hard, so we just got to strike first. So and that play right there got our momentum going, and we just kept sticking to listening to what our coach was saying, and yeah.
Tell me about your big man. He made an impact right away as well.
Yeah. We just keep telling him to stick to the scheme. He going to get his. So, and the guards we got is going to open up a lot for him.
For yourself, you took over again, and then the beginning of the second half, you scored the first 6 right out of the gate. You put your foot on their throat.
Yeah, I know. Shots wasn't falling first half. I wasn't really getting a lot of shots. I know if I keep sticking to the defense, I was going to get everything I want.
I got to ask you about the behind-the-back pass. You gave up the layup. You throw it over in the corner, man. What were you thinking on that one? Then he knocked it down.
I see the whole floor. I know he was going to hit that shot in that big moment, so I just gave it to my senior.
What's special about this team, man? Why are you guys in the Final Four?
we do everything together. You know, we brothers, so we try to do everything as a unit. And yeah.
Well, Coach, man, you're going back to the Brez, man. What put this team over the top?
Just hard work and the brotherhood that they've established with one another.
Tell me about the start. You couldn't ask for a better start, 12-0 out of the gate.
Yeah, well, glad to see that part of the start was Austin Torrey, because he's an unknown soldier that's been just really playing hard, man, and he's really been our captain for 3 years. And so he's a special kid, man.
Well, he showed everybody tonight as well. I mean, and obviously offensively getting the dunks that he got, but then, on the defensive end as well.
Well, see, what people don't understand, he started out as a point guard, and so he just happened to grow really tall, so the ball handling skills are still there and the IQ is still there. So, like I said, there's a lot of people that's been overlooking him, but he's a stud, man.
Little Anthony Davis in him there, huh? Yeah. As far as that goes. Well, tell me about your other guy, Carlos. Obviously, he's been leading the way all year long, did it again today, took over, especially in the second half, right out of the gate. He scored the first 6 for you.
Yes. Well, that's Carlos Medlock. He plays like that in open gym. He plays like that in practice. He plays like that every time he steps on the court. So nothing that he does surprises me.
This team, both the guys I talked to said, we got over the hump, that we didn't do last year. What was the difference this year? Why is this team going to the Brez?
Maturity. That's all. Maturity. Last year, I think the moment got them, and even there was some jitters even today. But, once they, saw that they could do it, we're trying to go to the Breslin to win it. We're not happy just to go to the Breslin.
And this team looks like they are confident as can be.
Thank you. They are.
Well, there you go. Austin Torrey reporting for duty, the soldier.
Right.
Calling it out there as Wayne Memorial moves on.
Yeah, no, you get ready for those. Like Coach Brooks said, you've been a captain for 3 years. You've been doing this. You have expectations. We believe in you. And now, again, to be able to pursue your goals and to be able to go that much further, you get to ruin your coach's fishing trips down to the Detroit River. He's going to have to wait a few more days before he hits that walleye run.
That's right.
But, Steve Brooks and his son Ryan Brooks, I'm sure that they'll
Sunday morning.
I'm sure that'll be a fair
up
trade.
bright and early.
And you know what?
I'll predict a 70-degree day.
I might have to get down to the Renaissance Center and see if I can see them. I'm sure they'll have the trophy on the boat, and showing it off a little bit. Everybody else is showing off 14, 15-inch walleye. I got a state title.
That's a bold statement. Throwing out the Wayne Zebras, taking home the state championship. Let's bring up that Division I bracket again and see if they do get by Flint, Carman-Ainsworth, who they'll have to play, and that will be either East Lansing or Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Highlights of those games which are coming. East Lansing game against Ann Arbor Huron, those highlights are coming up in a bit. But just that matchup on the noon matchup there, East Lansing and Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Hey, I love it. This is going to, again, like we talked about earlier, this is going to be a repeat matchup. Orchard Lake St. Mary's going to have an opportunity to get their get-backs. Yeah. They've done a great job so far of avenging their losses.
Right.
Their biggest one probably coming against University of Detroit Jesuit, and that was in the Catholic League. East Lansing right now, they're rolling. They're healthy right now. They've got depth in the front court. We've talked about Kingston Thomas. We've talked about Cameron Hudson. Right. Let's talk about Kelvin Torbert Jr. He's their leading scorer. I think he's averaging right around 22, 23 points a game. Some people talk, right after the game with Wayne Memorial versus University of Detroit Jesuit, their win over UD Jesuit as Carlos Medlock being the number one point guard, number one player in that 2026 class. Well, I know that Kelvin Torbert Jr. has got something to say about that, and he's got a strong backing. And not only that, he's got the production, and now he gets to make a trip to the Breslin. And if it so does wind up happening, playoffs are chock full of upsets or teams that, let's say, this deservedly wind up winning because they wind up winning in between the stripes. So if East Lansing and Wayne Memorial do wind up making it to the Breslin, that's going to be a heck of a matchup. I don't think that you can go wrong either way how you're looking at it. Let's say it's Orchard Lake St. Mary's versus Flint Carman-Ainsworth. Trey McKinney being from Flint. Right. Now you've got Flint.
Yeah.
Steve Brooks, also from Flint.
Yeah.
So now, hey, the 810 is alive and well. Woo! So, hey, a little bit, let's say this. Hey, you can shut down Flint Northwestern. You can shut down Flint Northern. You can shut down Flint Central, but you can't take the basketball out of Flint players.
There you go. There you go. Words to live by. All right. It's going to be a great great semifinal in Division I. Looking forward to both of those matchups. You know what else was a great matchup tonight in Division III? Pewamo, Westphalia, and Schoolcraft getting together at Kalamazoo Loy Norix High School. And off the bat, it was Schoolcraft dropping dimes. They won the state title a couple years ago, lost last year to the eventual state champ Niles Brandywine in the regional final. But they are here and they wanted to make a statement. But Pewamo, Westphalia, a team that last won a state title in 2019, lost last year to Grand Rapids Covenant Christian in the regional final. It was certainly a game of two halves for them in the regional final, but here they were, and this is at the buzzer to go into half. Schoolcraft feeling good as they headed into the locker room. However, check that. That was the end of the first quarter. Let's go to the second quarter now. We're still in the first half, and it's Pewamo, Westphalia that came to play. Their shooting percentage was on point here in this one, especially in the first half. And again, guys like Grady Eklund, guys like Trent Piggott, other guys getting it done for a Westphalia team that led at the half 17-14.
Yeah, Coach Schneider, Coach Schroeder, excuse me. He's a happy guy. He got more than his star player is Grady Eklund, but he wound up getting solid play from his supporting staff, and is so many times as long as your head guy, your number one player, he can get things done, and then you have a couple of other guys that want to fill in the roles and add some scoring. Those are tough teams to beat. We've talked about Pewamo, Westphalia. They have a history of being to the Breslin in the past, and I don't think that pretty much kind of playing in their own backyard. I think they're about 20 minutes away from East Lansing. So hats off to them. And
but Schoolcraft stayed in it. 31-30 heading into the fourth. This game went back and forth. Pewamo, Westphalia, though, just resilient in this particular game, taking it to the hole and not taking any prisoners. Here they could do it from the inside. They could do it from the outside. They were playing well. And again, when you get two teams historically who match up well, they're coached well and they play good defense. So you're fighting for every look. You're fighting for every shot. There, great pass inside, and Pewamo, Westphalia was feeling good. But Schoolcraft was not going to go away. This is a team that is used, that is familiar with getting to the Breslin. They want that feeling again. Big bucket there. And now we're going to get a triple here coming up by Schoolcraft. It's just about 40 seconds left in the game, and they made it a 5-point game. So here we're going to go to the final moments, and we will see how this one played out. And basically, well, you saw right there. It was Pewamo, Westphalia, who is moving on, and again, a team that is going to, see what they can do if they can get to the state finals once again, and I think this community really wants it, because again, that Iron Mountain taste, that one was flawed or they didn't earn that one, is still in their mouth from 2019, and this would be a good way to wash that down.
Right, I'm not sure. I would love to read the write-up from Pewamo, Westphalia's coaching staff on that refereeing in that game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What? I mean, it winds up happening. And I think that there was a technical foul call right afterwards and stuff like that.
You can go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's all right there for
that's
you.
one of the beautiful things about
Absolutely.
if you go visit the MHSA website, they have a lot of archive videos, a lot of archive games. If there's any history that you're looking forward, you can go back to the Rudy Tomjanovich days and stuff like that. So
50-45, Pewamo, Westphalia beats Schoolcraft, and Grady Eklund had a good night.
Yeah, 27 points, 11 rebounds. Hats off to him stepping up to the game, and then Tucker Walter also stepping it up with 17 points. So
okay, all right. I did not hear what you said there, Chuck. So why don't you say it again? Where are we going from here, ladies and gentlemen? The Division II bracket. That's where we're going, where we see teams that had advanced tonight. That is Kingsford, who will take on Summit Academy. And we've got Grand Rapids Catholic Central going back to East Lansing, and they will be taking on the defending state champs, Warren Lincoln. Let's talk about that match up first. Grand Rapids CC and the Abes.
Yeah, let's say this, you have a team that's full of expectations, and then you have a team that's maybe exceeding expectations at this point. Yeah, it's great to be here, but one team they've been looking at repeating since, well, let's say this probably for the last 365 days, 358 days or so. And then you've got Grand Rapids Catholic Central, who is had a little bit of ups and downs in the year. They were able to avenge some losses, wound up losing to Grand Rapids South Christian during the regular season, and then wound up avenging that loss in the state playoffs. So whenever you can go out there and do that, you're still feeling it. All right, here we go. We're clicking at the right time, and hats off to Coach Pearl for getting it done. And at the same time, Wydell Henry, the Abe's, his senior group, they're doing a fantastic job. And they're the juggernaut. They're the juggernaut to stop. So if they want to, if Grand Rapids Catholic Central winds up pulling the game off, I think that will be just as big of an upset at Lake St. Orchard, Lake St. Mary's.
Let's go back to the Division II bracket again. Let's pull that back up and look at the other side, and that's Kingsford and Romulus Summit Academy.
Well, Summit Academy wound up losing to Orchard Lake St. Mary's earlier this year.
Yeah.
I know they had a loss to Walled Lake Central, but since December, they've been rolling. They did wind up losing in the charter school playoffs, but again, to a very strong team. And since then, I think that they've kind of been on a mission, you know what I'm saying? They felt like them not winning their conference tournament, same as Wayne Memorial not winning their conference tournament, and what someone might consider an upset. It just makes you that much more hungry, because obviously you didn't live up to the expectations that you set for yourself. But hey, DJ Clark, he's got quite a few guys on that squad. Chance Hauser's only a junior on that team, 6'4", 6'5", really able to get it done. And then you've got Ashwood, who's been nothing short of phenomenal. He can light it up, he can really check. And I think he's got probably maybe 2 or 3 other guys that are also going to have the opportunity to play in college. So, hey, hats off to them.
Let me tell you a story, ladies and gentlemen. So, a couple years ago here at Yellow Flag Productions, which is the parent company of State Champs, we needed to make a run to Kingsford for the 100-year centennial celebration of that city. Now, you hear Kingsford, you think of the charcoal briquettes.
Only the best.
Am I right? It's like when you think of Chelsea, you think of Jiffy corn muffins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we made the trip up there, and again, a city celebrating 100 years. It was amazing, really flourishing community. It was a great time. We were up there for Lawrence Tech, kind of doing some displays and things like that for kids, getting them involved in science and tech stuff. And we had a blast, and here they are now coming down to the Breslin Center as they get an opportunity. They beat Freeland tonight, 21 wins for Kingsford.
Yeah, well, when you talk about the nitty-gritty, I look forward to seeing Kingsford. I haven't seen them live.
Right.
For me, that's a great experience just to watch. Yeah, you can watch games on video. You can maybe watch highlight clips, but to be able to see teams in person.
Yeah.
And not only that, for me, from let's say this, from a recruiting aspect, I get to see you go against some of the pillars in Division II, some of the top guys in that class. And like I always like to try to bring up, if you are a winning team, if you wind up making it to the Breslin, as a player, if you're if you're a college prospect, sometimes that winds up advancing your recruitment that much further. And we'll see what Kingsford has. Just to be there, I don't think that they're just happy just being there for the semifinals. Hey, there's going to be great weather, but hey, one thing about the gym is, hey, you got a nice controlled environment, even though it might be 65, 70 degrees outside.
That's right.
And I imagine all the Kingsford kids will be wearing shorts anyway.
That's
so.
Right. John Watson in the house. He made the trip to Kingsford with me a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you, it was beautiful. We had a great time. It was beautiful. It's about a 10-hour drive from Metro Detroit. We had to break it up into 2 days. We were carrying a big old stem trailer behind us, filled to the brim. It was an interesting journey, but I'll tell you what, we enjoyed the Kingsford people, and we are looking forward to seeing Kingsford at the Breslin Center as they compete for a state championship, for at least a right to play in the state championship. Why don't we bring up the Division IV graphic? I would like to see Division IV. Thank you very much. Since we're kind of in that UP mode right now, kind of felt that we could talk a little up north, but not all up northern teams who are representing, obviously, in the Division IV state semifinals. Those are the Thursday games that are taking place at 5:30 and 7:30. We'll talk about the first matchup, Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian, as they take on Crystal Falls Forest Park.
Hey, like we've talked before, Forest Hill, let's say this, you got the #1 NPR team in Forest Park.
Yep.
And then you've got the repeat champion in Tri-Unity Christian.
That's right.
Like I've mentioned in past Hang Chime episodes,
Yes.
they might as well have their own zip code at Tri-Unity.
Yep.
The defenders have had a lot of success. I believe Coach Sulzman will be going for his 8th, or excuse me, obviously not. Coach Sulzman's not at Tri-Unity Christian.
Keeler.
Coach Keeler.
Yes.
I think he'll be
Mark
going.
Keeler.
Yep, he'll be going for. I believe this will be his 7th title.
Yeah.
And when you, and not only that, the countless other trips that he's made, as far as just falling short, whether it be in the runner-up or falling short in the semifinals. But he's been there as much of any. When you get to 6 or 7 championships.
Yeah, he won his 700 game back in January. Talking about Mark Keeler, the head coach for Wyoming Trinity, who is finishing up his career. This is it for him. So those boys have a lot to play for. This is his 38th and final season. Only the 4th coach in MHSAA history to collect 700 or more wins.
That's great. I imagine
Lofton Green
is in there.
He has got to be one of those.
Lofton Green is in there. I imagine that possibly Dan Fife might not be out that far out of
What about George Porritt?
George Porritt's been there for a long time. Obviously relinquishing the keys a couple of years ago to Coach Colbert. But at the same time, Porritt's been around for a really long time.
I would imagine it's probably a small town or something, that we're not really talking about right now.
Well, Beaverton, Johnson is not in there. And you talk about something that would be great if he wound up making the trip there. As his career, it comes to an end. Saying that he's been there for 55 years, I think 67 or 68 or something like that. So
but the defending state champs in Tri-Unity, and certainly a team that is going to be ready to go. And sure, Crystal Falls is going to come in, want to play tough. But let's bring up the other side of the bracket, and that is Fowler and Allen Park Intercity Baptist. We had highlights from the Intercity Baptist game earlier as they beat Kingston, not Kingford, but Kingston, who has never made it past the quarterfinals, and that streak continues, unfortunately for them. Intercity Baptist moves on. This was their 2nd straight appearance for the Chargers, still in pursuit of their first ever state championship. They knocked off number 8 Clarkston Everest Collegiate in last week's regional final. Should be favored today. They were, and a big win for AP Intercity Baptist.
Yeah, again, hats off to Coach Kratz making it there. One thing I love about watching Division IV basketball, the smaller schools, there's so many details have to be paid attention to. Guys playing off of 2 feet, being patient, waiting for the back cuts. You really get to watch and see a lot of. We just watched some of the playoff, some of the highlights from right there. Me personally, if I'm having to guess, I'd say that Allen Park Intercity Baptist will wind up advancing and wind up playing Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian on Saturday morning. If that winds up happening, I know that the Breslin is going to be rocking. They're going to start with the first game of championship Saturday, and then followed by the Division I championships, and then you've got a little break, and then you've got Division III and Division II following that. But as we look at the this right here, the semifinals.
Let's talk about Fowler.
Yep.
Fowler, a team, 23 wins. They were at Houghton Lake today as they took on Bel Air. So Bel Air was 22-4 coming in. And again, Bel Air came in pretty strong. It was their first quarterfinal though since 2016, but they had some guys who were really playing well. Bel Air was in their first quarterfinal since 2016, and hey, they're going back to the Breslin Center for the first time since 2007.
Yeah, well, all 4 of these teams highly ranked in the NPR. So you really got to love it, just to do some studying and stuff like that. If you were going to look at which is the most competitive, the biggest toss-up, who's going to win the championship of all the 4 divisions, I think you'd have to go with Division 4 just because the parity is so strong. Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian, they have to go against the #1 team in NPR Division 4. And then you've got
Intercity Baptist.
Intercity Baptist. All 4 of those teams are in the top 6. Fowler in the CMAC. They're in the same division as Pewamo Westphalia. So they have been battle tested the same as Allen Park Intercity
Over
Baptist.
20 state quarterfinals appearances for Fowler in their history. So they're used to being there.
Yeah, well, you got expectations to live up to.
But Bel Air,
the community,
Bel Air getting it done.
Yeah, well, but that just ran a little bit short against Fowler. But hey, at the end of the day, I brought up parity in past hang time shows, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that makes Michigan high school basketball, or just high school basketball in general, great. Is the expectations of let's say this. the expectations of having great games and then following through and being able to see some of these great matchups. Obviously, we got to see when we were talked about earlier in our live live video version of State Champs Hang Time. That we were able to see a lot of these really close games when it came down to the nitty gritty. And we talked about quarterfinal high school basketball being some of the best basketball in the state of Michigan, and I'm sure that goes along for other states as well. So hats off to all those competing.
Absolutely. This is State Champ Score, TJ.
Yes, State Champ Score. I'll get it right.
Is our other product, but this is State Champ Score. We're live here, people. We have been live for hours. I'll tell you what, before we're going to get to Division III next, but let me address some of these comments. And Matthew Osterman, who was from St. Clair Shores and used to contribute to our radio program back in the day. I remember, Matt. And so I know you missed the radio show. It was great. We love doing it. And maybe someday we'll do it again. But right now we're doing Score Live. You're asking about your thoughts about Macomb L'Anse Creuse High School North as they tried to see if they could get past Orchard Lake St. Mary's. That's tough, so they didn't get to the Breslin Center. But again, good season, though. For that regional champs, here they are.
Yeah, great season. Not only that, let's say if you go back to Thursday at halftime, they're down to Warren De La Salle at the time. Obviously, let's say this, if you're not familiar with Michigan, Macomb County, Warren De La Salle is in Macomb County. A lot of times they're drawing the best talent who wind up going and playing sports at Warren De La Salle for the Pilots. And so when any of these public schools, charter school, a non-parochial school wound up playing against the big dog in the county and wound up coming off with the win. That's a hats off to the Crusaders. Great job by Kurt Wilson, his son Julius Wilson. He's only a junior. He will return for next year. I'm not saying that De La Salle is going to snipe him, but I'm just saying that hats off to him. And not only that, they put the groundwork and they've got the foundation to make another strong run for next year. And I think that Kurt Wilson, L'Anse Creuse North, and the Crusaders, they can wind up making another strong charge. And not only that, it gives them the confidence when they're playing other strong teams in next year. I'm sure that they're going to step up.
Build on this.
Yeah, they're going to step up their June schedule. They're going to be ready.
Absolutely. Congratulations to them. Another comment. Looks like probably number 5 or Nove and Jiffy Pop all believe Wayne Memorial is the team right now that is hotter than anybody.
Yeah, they are, but at the same time. The loss to Novi in the KLAA championship, I think, kind of put a little thorn in their side where they started looking at who they were going to beat in districts rather than the game that's in front of them right there. And
so maybe that was a good thing.
A little bit of dose of reality. You still got to go out there. You still got to play the game. You still got to go out there. You can't mail it in.
That's right.
And so I would agree with Jiffy Pop there. I think that Wayne Memorial they're playing as good as basketball as anybody out there. So. But Orchard Lake St. Mary's, East
Some
Lansing.
of our commenters actually come to the studio and participate. It's really wild.
And then you got Carman-Ainsworth. Wayne Memorial still got to beat them if they're going to make it that much further. But all teams are playing very well right now.
No doubt. I think that it's going to be a heck of a semifinal in Division I. Let's go to Division III, and let's get you caught up with the bracket and who won, who lost tonight. Again, we showed you highlights of Pewamo, Westphalia, and Schoolcraft. Pewamo, Westphalia taking that one and moving on, a team that is gritty and is ready to make a run, but they are going to have to climb a difficult mountain as Riverview, Gabriel Richard, again, probably as strong as anyone, 18-game winning streak for them right now. Probably, again, top dogs in Division III, made the state semifinals last season, lost to Detroit Old Redford 43-41. Just as we talk about building on something, they built on that, and here they are, I would say, the favorite to win the championship.
Without a doubt. And Coach Dye doing a fantastic job. He's been there before. This is also a team that want to win the Catholic League, the Catholic League Cardinal Division. They're out there handling business. Jackson Lumen Christie has been doing a phenomenal job of just beating up on teams and playing to the strength, to the top of their game. And then they wound up running into the buzzsaw, Riverview Gabriel Richard, who really wound up taking care of business. And I think that when you see teams that are playing like they're on a mission. They're going out there. Yeah, they're happy to win this game, but they know that their ultimate goal still has to be reached.
Yeah.
And I don't think Gabriel Richard's not going to be happy unless they get to hold up the big trophy on Saturday.
That's right. And we said we love this bracket and the way the semifinals have kind of laid out. Maybe more than any other division. Let's bring it up one more time. We'll talk about the other side. We just think the matchups are great. And again, Gabriel Richard, already had a fairly easy time today with Jackson Lumen Christi. So they are going to be, needing, I think, a tough, gritty win so that they can really feel strong moving into Saturday and maybe not just coasting through. And then one of these gritty teams like Ishpeming Westwood or ATAP are a team that come in and all of a sudden just win the whole thing.
Yeah, well, again, ATAP, you talk about a whole bunch of guys. Lewis Lovejoy, he's only a freshman. Some of their other players are only freshmen, sophomores. Yeah, they do have a couple of seniors.
They don't know any better.
But they're going out there. They know not what they do. I guess that's one thing that could be said. Lewis or Orlando Lovejoy Sr., he's in the driver's seat right now as well. His first year coaching. If he winds up making it to making it to championship Saturday, winds up holding the trophy, there are not a lot of coaches that wind up winning the championship their first year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's a hurdle that they can't overcome, but wow, it just adds to the storylines of what a great weekend we've got planned in front of us.
And the Patriots of Ishpeming Westwood, they have won now 11 in a row going into the state semifinals. It's almost been 10 years since they got this far, meaning tonight. So now they are in uncharted waters. They've never won a state championship in program history. So again, another team that's coming in that's saying like, hey, we made it this far. Why not go all the way, right? And so I think both teams really having nothing. We could have our most entertaining game of the semifinals in that one.
Yeah, and hats off to Ishpeming Westwood.
Yeah.
I mean, in beating McBain is not a slouch at all.
No.
They come from they've got, I think, the Highland Conference is
semifinals last year.
Yes, so they're coming in, and let's say this, where McBain wanted to be where Riverview Gabriel Richard, when you're going to make that extra step, we want to get it back to the Breslin.
Right.
Now they've got to wait till the 2025-26 season, and at the same time, Ishpeming Westwood stepping up when the opportunity's there. I got a full 24-ounce steak. It's like I forgot John Candy eating the big steak. You know what I'm saying? The Great Outdoors or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, give me the
Great Outdoors.
Give me the big steak. Hey, it's front of me. I got to take care of everything.
Right.
I'm not going to leave. I'm going to finish. I'm going to clean my entire plate, and everybody's going to parade me around the town. And that's the best thing about when I'm looking at some of these small schools. You can see all the energy of their fans that are in the crowd, and they're how they have one section, and it might be a quarter of the stadium, and they're all just chanting. And it's one of those things. It's great for the community.
And the UP is representing.
And the UP
is representing. Kingsford is there.
Right.
I mean, we got some teams ready to play.
I know that there's one person from the UP who hopes he's not there, and that being Tom Izzo. Hopefully
Iron Mountains,
and seeing what they can do. But yeah, one thing about Izzo, he'll always. Let's say this, as long as the Big Ten championship, depending on where they are, whenever he's had the opportunity to be at the Breslin Center to support the Upper Peninsula teams, he's always been there. So, hey, hats off to him. And I know he's super excited a few years ago when his alma mater, Iron Mountain, wound up winning a couple state titles. So,
right.
Yeah. But, yeah, hats off to Pewamo Westphalia. I think that Pewamo Westphalia, Riverview, Gabriel Richard is going to be a heck of a game.
Absolutely.
And then Ishpeming, ATAP, that's going to be a toss-up. And we're going to see who's going to be the first to make it to the Breslin Championship.
That's right.
out of those two teams.
That's right. And the weather's going to be cooperative
Yes.
this weekend. So we are looking forward to it. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great time here tonight. This is State Champ Score. This is our first kind of crack at doing what we would, classify as like the NFL red zone, for a live playoff night. And we want to do more of this. State Champs, again, been associated with this company for almost 25 years now. It's been a lot of my life.
Yeah.
A quarter of a century I have devoted to this god-awful I'm kidding. To this program, to this network, and to this team that we have here. And so I'm really just killing time until I got my next highlights, which are coming up here. So
it's all good. I remember
we're going to get to
those
some
25
East Lands and here's that. But yes, exactly. And again, we appreciate all you've done for us too. And really my point is that we always want to try something new. We want to do things that are different. We finally got over 250,000 followers. We thank you so much. Those of you who have become subscribers and are following, our content, hopefully you like it. We always love the feedback on what you want, but we're always here trying to push the envelope. New shows, again, Game Time Live really took a big step this year for us. We did do a basketball game, including Wayne Memorial, and we will continue to do more of those as we move forward. And again, in the football season, we'd like to have this on Friday nights. So you come back and we're just talking about what's taking place, very much like what the State Champs radio show, which was called the State Champs Scoreboard back in the day, very much what that was, except here streaming and doing it in a more visual way. So anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you. We appreciate everybody for joining us tonight, and we do have some more highlights that we're going to get to, and this is in Division 1, and it is Ann Arbor Huron taking on East Lansing, the number 1 team in the state being East Lansing taking on Huron. But Huron coming out of the gate and really playing well right off the bat with getting bucket after bucket, although the score was not 131-11 at the time.
There we go.
It seems like they have a few issues there on the scoreboard there. But hey, the video quality is pretty good. And Ann Arbor Huron was feeling it. So again, Ann Arbor Huron is a program who, fresh off beating Detroit Catholic Central, they were pumped up, 21 wins on the season. But East Lansing is the number 1 team in the state for a reason. Beat Kazoo Central 77-42 in the regionals, so they took care of business there. Thursday's 35-point win was the largest gap of the playoffs that they've had. This again, was their 3rd straight regional crown. And again, we talked about guys like KJ Torbert and others for East Lansing who have really been unbelievable. He had 24 in the regional, averaged 20 a game. J.L. Branson had 14 points in the regional final. Cameron Houston averaged 18.5. They won the CAAC Blue Division this year. Each tournament win has been by more than 15 points. And again, this one was not 15 points by any reason. Ann Arbor Huron tried to stay in it till the end, but at the end, East Lansing got the job done, and this one was by more than 15 points. The final score in this one was 71-49. East Lansing moving on, the number 1 team, but it doesn't get any easier from here.
No, well, let's say this. And when we started watching this game when we first got in the studio, right before we went on air, this was a very tight game.
Yes.
Maybe 2 or 3 points. East Lansing they have won all of their games in the second half, where they maybe have a couple of games where, 5 points here, 4 points there. But then when it comes to the second half, they wind up making their adjustments, and they wound up really coming out gangbusters. East Lansing, Ann Arbor Huron, this is the game that I tried to put together in the Motor City Roundball Classic. The coaches nixed it, and they said, look, there's a strong chance we might see these games, or see the same team in the quarterfinals.
Right.
I get it now, especially if you're looking at some of the teams that have wound up winning in tonight's quarterfinals by avenging some of their losses. So hey, it's one of those things where there is some strategy that's going on as far as putting together the schedules. But yeah, hats off to Ray Mitchell. You may remember him. He was an assistant coach on those great Lansing Sexton teams if you go back 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And so he's coming out of that Carlton Valentine coaching tree. The same thing with DeLeon Daring over at Lansing Sexton, who was also on those teams. So, hey, hats off to the Lansing area. East Lansing definitely getting it done. LSJ will definitely have a great write-up on that. I imagine if anybody wants to go out there, read what Brian Calloway's writing about this weekend. He does a great job of giving a preview of all the Lansing area teams. But yeah, Ann Arbor Huron, Mo Kasham, head coach there, doing a great job. Makari Moore was a Mr. Basketball finalist.
Yes, he was.
Finished number 3. He's an offensive juggernaut, really stepped it up on the defensive end. Really a tough player, and he's going to go on and have a great career, I imagine, with the Iowa State Cyclones. So, but hats off to East Lansing. They get Orchard Lake St. Mary's again. Can they wind up doing what they did about 6 weeks ago in beating Orchard Lake St. Mary's? We're going to find out. J.L. Branson is he's healthy. He's on the team. Kingston Thomas, we talked about him going down with an injury. We just saw him have a nice dunk off of 2 feet and a nice vertical jump. So, he looks like he's fully healthy. And then you've got Cam Hudson, who didn't make the Mr. Basketball ballot. And I'm sure that when you get to go against Mr. Basketball, that might be something that he wanted. And so now you get to really go out there and see how much East Lansing wants it. And again, I think that what we have as far as Division I matchups, it's going to be nothing short of phenomenal. East Lansing, Orchard Lake St. Mary's. That is watch basketball on Friday afternoon.
This man has not had a glass of water in 2 hours. Hats off to TJ Kelley for hanging in there as he knocks everything on the ground. Seriously, though, great job. Guys, hey, this one's in the books right now. So we thank you so much for tuning in to the State Champs Score. We wanted to do this thing live. We wanted to be able to get some comments here going on our YouTube channel. We wanted to be able to bring you some highlights. Tried to do some live look-ins. We're playing with, the technology and all of it, but we're going to have it figured out by the fall. So you just wait when State Champs Score comes back in a big way. Football season, all football season long. You like the Red Zone, you're going to love State Champs Score. You're going to come back each and every week. You're going to watch our live game. You're going to watch the score. You're going to be up to date on everything happening in Michigan high school football. But for now, we've got a weekend of great basketball headed down to the Breslin Center, and that is the high school basketball, boys basketball state championships. Semifinals on Thursday and Friday, the championships on Saturday. It's an electric time if you get an opportunity to get down to East Lansing or up to East Lansing or to the side, however you get to East Lansing. It's good to go to the Breslin Center. If you've never been there, it's a great place to see basketball, and you get a whole day of terrific basketball. So make a plan. If you can't be there, though, watch State Champs. State Champs content is going to have everything covered all weekend long. We're going to bring it to you, and we're going to give you everything unlike anybody else in the business. 250,000 followers. We thank you so much for becoming a part of the State Champs fam. We want you here with us. Communicate with us, and good luck to the teams this weekend. It's going to be an amazing weekend of basketball. The weather's going to be fantastic, and you guys enjoy it. That's it for TJ Kelley. I'm Lorne Plant. Thank you so much for watching State Champs Score. We will do this again next basketball season. That's a promise, but we'll see you in the fall. Thank you so much for watching.